I gotta go find my computer so I can type in the YouTubes.
Welcome everybody back to The Lot. We are here for a second week. Week one, our first episode actually wasn't all that bad, so I said, fuck it, let's do this shit again. Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Listen, I have an important question for you guys, specifically Travis, because he wasn't here before the show, so this is a cold throw to him. What's the deal with white people and air fryers? That's what I want to know.
Easy cooking. Easy cooking.
Is it easy though? Is it easy?
We're gonna find out. Find out.
I've struggled. I got my parents an air fryer for Christmas 2 Christmases ago, and they never used it. So when I was home this last Christmas, I decided to like force the issue. And so I got like wings and stuff and fries and trying to make it. But the cookbook for the air fryer is terrible because it is translated, I think, between like 4 or 5 different languages. Like when it gets down to, you know what I'm saying, Matt? Matt, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
100%. Yeah, no, they're deceptively harder than they seem to be. Yeah, but I found like the cheapest ones are the easiest ones, and they work pretty well. So my feeling is you go cheap on those things.
So how do they work? I don't really know about these air fryers. I just been seeing it online ever since we've been isolated and quarantined. It's like all of a sudden that's the thing everybody needs, right? We got to air fry our food, but like, how does that work? I don't really understand it.
I don't either. Go ahead, Kevin.
Is it like extremely high heat?
It's like an oven. So it's just like a fancy oven.
Right, yeah. It's like in a restaurant, you have a convection oven, so you can bake potatoes in 15 minutes. You know, because it's like 700 degrees inside of it, and it's circulating the air around. And that's why you get the crispiness without using the oil. Which I think is the big white person problem, is the cholesterol. We all don't want cholesterol, so we use the air fryer.
Chad,
yes.
How long do you think we can talk about culinary instruments and air fryers before this gets too much?
I'm giving it about 10 minutes. And then let's see, our first guest is coming on in 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, 15 or 20 minutes.
15. We have Suffering Juke coming on at 6:20.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome. I'm a little nervous though, because I feel like I don't know enough about my own bracket to keep up with him. Like I do, and I'm following, but he's one of those impressive guests. You know what I mean? He's an impressive guy when you talk to him. Like he just remembers jams really well.
Is it more his bracket or your bracket? To be honest, like if I were to divvy it up, like who's more responsible for this 2.0 bracket?
I mean, it's like any production, right? Is it the writer or the director and the right? So, Brian,
I'm asking.
Well, I don't know. I think it's his bracket. I mean, I couldn't have done it without him. I don't know 2-Boy Jams to the levels he does. I know a couple, but like he picked the songs, the jams that are in the bracket. He seeded them. I did the artistic and the operations behind it, right?
Sure. But like artistic.
He's the mastermind of this.
Yeah. That's very cool, man. That's very cool. I am so grateful for these 2.0 jams because 2.0 is a little bit of a gap in my Phish fandom. Matt, I know you're a big 2.0 guy, like, but it's a bit of a gap. And so like going back and listening to these shows has been really cool. Like I've found some stellar stuff in there.
Yeah, 2.0 gets a little bit of a bad rap. And again, for good reason, probably. But yeah, there is some just, and it's an interesting thing because after 2.0, it just feels like in my mind, we really kind of shifted into, and we always have been as a community, but like, we really want those 30-minute jams, those really out there kind of, long things. Well, that's all 2.0 was, like 2.0 was that, so to me, when I start to kind of re-listen to 2.0, I have much more appreciation for it because again, it's just, I don't know, maybe it's revisionist history a little bit, but it's underrated for sure.
Hey, Colonel, what do you, how have you been feeling about these 2.0 jams? Have you been listening?
I feel like there's a lot.
You haven't?
I've listened to some of it. No, I haven't gone through all.
He doesn't want to
Just
admit it in front of me,
admit
but
it.
he's like,
You
fuck
haven't.
those
Nah.
brackets.
Well, they're okay.
No, what I was going to say is it seems unfocused sometimes, but it seems like it's the necessary bridge between what they were doing in 99, 2000 and what they picked up on in 2009. It like fills in that space.
Did you guys see Steinberg's tweet today? ZZYZZX?
The House of Stats.
Zissix?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I know who he is, but I don't know what he tweeted. No.
He tweeted today something about he ran 2.7 miles. And that was a hint to something that he's trying to do right now. I think he's going to drop like something from the archive that we don't know about. I just have a feeling
it's
like
Kevin though. Kevin Shapiro is the one that drops from the archives, right? Not Zissix. I think.
Yeah, it was a mysterious tweet though. It made my ears.
A mysterious guy.
Well, true.
He was on that. Speaking of our guest, Missy will be on in the Phish trivia. So when we did,
second guest.
Yeah, the first round of Phish trivia, he was in there. Now, thankfully, he wasn't playing. Like, that would have been stupid. But, like, Andy Gadel was in there. Like, all these people.
Wow.
Yeah, that it was like, okay, well, I'm just here to watch now. Obviously, any opportunity for me to win has gone out the window because you literally have. It's like they're all suffering jukes in there, like when you get in there. So you're like, okay, this is fun to watch the geniuses, but I'm not participating anymore.
No, I'm right there with you. I don't think I would be able to keep up with I know I wouldn't be able to. I'm not even going to pretend like I could. Actually, those are two good guest ideas. I'm going to jot that down. I think maybe
we need a
Andy?
1+ team to do Missy's trivia.
Exactly.
Who would win?
No,
Out of
all
our
of us
team?
together against everybody else, I think we could nail it. Because we have it all covered. I know 1.0 back and forth. Matt's 2.0 guy, and the rest of you can come up with the 3.0 stuff.
Matt, what is an example of well, we can ask Missy this when she comes on, but like, what's an example of a question she would ask? Because I don't know what like Phish trivia involves. Like,
Okay, so it got as deep as like, have you seen Mike Gordon's documentary?
no.
Then there you go. It's called Inside Out. And it got like, it wasn't as easy as that because I think I might have been able to come through that, but it was like even deeper than that, like who directed.
So it's off the peripheral. It's not just.
Okay, there were levels of it, but that was just an example of like, it is difficult. It isn't. Now this week, and we'll let Missy talk about it, so I don't want to, but it is a little bit different. I think the style will be a little different. So there's a little more chance. But yeah, it's also a level. Last week was how fast you could type, right? Because it was like the first 3 answers that got into the chat were the winners kind of thing.
Oh,
and like
I'd be out just on that.
Right. I'm like, yeah, exactly. I need my
Especially
wife.
the more I have to drink. Like tonight, I could get in the chat and be fine. But by the second hour, I gotta hit backspace at least half of the time, right?
100%.
Like what? So do they? So you mentioned the documentary. Like, I mean, what is it like? Who is the key grip on Bittersweet Motel? Like, I mean, it's not that like detailed, is it?
No. So what situations of like shows? It was like, when did a naked guy run across the stage? So you did have to kind of, things like that. Right. So you had to come up with, sometimes you had to come up with dates. You had to come up with places of shows. Like, was it SPAC where this happened? Was it this where this happened? So yeah, it's deep, man. It's deep. But I'll tell you, it's fun, and it's incredible how many people know the answers, quickly.
If Missy is not watching right now, I have a question for her to stump her.
Oh boy! Now
and you guys know it. You guys know it because I've asked you guys it before. What was the chess move by the audience on Halloween '95?
There was no chess move.
Thank you. That's the correct answer, Llama.
All right, I feel better about this now, though, because now
the guy was too wasted.
Right. Yes, Llama nailed it. Let's see if Missy knows it when she comes on.
And it's fair to ask because it's also, hey, were you checking out the show before you came?
I'm sorry, but speaking of Llama, really quick. Speaking of Llama, you guys don't know this. And before we bring on our first guest, Llama and I have produced something for you guys. And it's a segment that we're introducing to the show. And it's called Ghost Llama's Baseball Card of the Week.
Fuck you guys.
So today's baseball card is Goose Gazzo.
All right, well done. That's a good one.
That's a pretty ridiculous name. He was drafted in 1984, but he didn't make it to the major leagues until 1989. So that's definitely dedication too. Like, you gotta like that.
Show me Goose again. I gotta see Goose Gazzo again, man. This guy's a sharp-looking guy. He's got he looks like the guys from Goose. Holy shit! Like this.
He does, right? I bet you this is where Goose got their name from and style.
Holy shit! They did not actually. Goose got their name from a taco shop in Denver. I know this, but
don't ruin my dreams.
What's Goose's lifetime batting average?
He's a pitcher.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's his lifetime ERA?
I don't know his lifetime, but his rookie year it was 4.83.
Wait, his ERA was 43 or 4.3? His ERA
4.83.
4.83. That's not good. That's not good, dude. That's not good.
Well, it was his rookie year, my guy.
I'm watching this Goose video and they absolutely look like that guy.
I hope that level comes out well live because that was perfect. I like that. You got to do that all night. Fuck it. I don't care if it comes out live. Well, that sounds good to me.
That Goose?
Goose Beanstalk 2019, Yeti, Electric Avenue, Arcadia, Hot Tea.
So I guess since we had mentioned Brian and Missy, do we want to just run down, get people excited about the rest of the guests in case they didn't hear?
I guess I'm late breaking news.
Oh
yeah, I wanted to just say Lightning fan on the chat on the YouTube chat said no chess move too. Whoever that is, they nailed it.
Stop spoiling it. Stop spoiling it for Missy.
Oh, it's spoiled, man. But that's cool. No, it's good. I like the interaction on the chat. We should encourage fan interaction. You could also use hashtag a lot. We'll have Kevin keep up.
Andy on the chat says he's here for the Goose content.
So I'm typing Wook Plus in the YouTube search.
Yeah.
And the third one down is Wook Plus dating app.
What?
I shit you not.
Llama, look into that, put together some information and report back because that is pretty badass.
I can't wait.
Not us though.
I can't wait to get back. Well, most of you guys are married, but I can't wait to get back to dating apps, man. Like, I'm single and I'm like, but I'm not gonna use a dating app right now. Like, no chance. Shit. No chance. Like,
yeah.
What am I gonna do? You know,
I don't know what dating would look like post-COVID, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, it's actually I'm gonna go backwards on the guest because one of the thing you just reminded me, our last guest is actually Andy Greenberg, Runaway Gin, which I'm super stoked to talk about. And one of the topics I personally really want to, bend his ear over is the whole quarantine music sessions. He's been doing these jam sessions remotely, and then also what he thinks the future of live music at bars looks like, and everything that's associated with that. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things that we can talk about, I think.
That feels
Yeah.
depressing.
Yeah, Kevin shared an article about that on the Wook Plus account about, that small clubs, bars, things are really struggling. Places,
The
small
Troubadour
music.
sent out an email. Yeah, the Troubadour sent out a big email about that the other day that I got about all of that.
There's like 1,000 small clubs, they said, that have all got together to try to lobby Congress to get relief.
Yeah,
specifically
I signed that petition thing. Yeah, they had a petition like on the thing. I signed that thing for them.
But it's the lobbyists that are getting the business relief apparently from Congress today. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I commented on that because as a guy that's played in bands, that has played in small bars and venues, like the bars that would give out guarantees and give you a tab for, beer and food, like those were the best places on earth. And that's where rock and roll like lives. That's where rock and roll is born. When you go to these venues that you're like, they're paying the band, and they have a good stage, a good sound system set up, decent lights. They're like really trying to promote live music. Like that's where
and then,
rock and roll is born,
drink
man.
tickets on top of it. 2 drink tickets for every band member.
Right. Or if you
Or
play in the
tab.
places, yeah, or if you play in the places I played, they just let you behind the bar and pour your own drink. They're like, yeah, right.
So
Well,
yeah,
either
like,
way. Oh, sorry, Llama.
oh, I was gonna say, like, being from Tennessee, like, I'm really kind of curious as to what like Nashville's gonna do, because like
Right.
They're open.
there's like
I heard they're
there's like
trying to
music
open.
venues like on top, like you can go, there's like 3 different levels that have stages and stuff. Like that's probably 80% of their income, so it's like
I definitely think they're trying to open a lot of those, like, downtown strip, that whole area down there, in downtown Nashville.
it helps that the governor's kind of a stupid fuck, so
They have a whole list of stupid fucks. Their senator is right up there as well. So yeah, again, I'm not that Missouri has anything better. So that's the problem. That's the problem, right? Like Kevin said, there's people lobbying to get this help for the arts, but is this the kind of Congress and the kind of government that will help the arts, and that's what sucks. And that's what we need is because they're not going to see the value in it.
So I'm torn right now because on one hand, I think this is a really important topic and deserves, reverence and attention. On the other hand, I'm drinking a Manhattan, sitting on the lot before a Phish show, and I'm like, do I really want to talk about fucking politics all night?
Hold on, Tim, you said you were not going to drink Manhattans today because you got in trouble last week.
I did.
Late night.
If you tuned in last week, I did get a little sloppy towards the end. little sloppy.
That's the late night with Manhattan Tim portion of our show.
Yeah.
It's only like we're 20 minutes in. Hey.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And actually, that's a good point. 20 minutes in, you know what that means? Chad, you guess.
We're fucked.
No, it means we have our first guest.
Oh, yes.
So let me try to not fuck this up. We're trying something new this week. Bear with me if I do fuck it up.
From Denver, Colorado, our first guest is a voice you will know. You hear him on the Beyond the Pond podcast on Osiris Media, producer of the 36 from the Vault show, curator of the Weekend Wook 2.0 Jam playlist, and the only man who owns the new U2 album on vinyl, Suffering Jew.
How's it going, guys?
Brian, how are you?
There he is.
I'm doing very well. I like that last bit. The new U2 album is a great dig. Thank you.
Oh, good. So you could see the video. You're the first guest to have our pre-produced intro. We tried a new thing, and I'm glad you were able to hear it.
Well, you made my day. You played the war on drugs. You got my podcast in there, and you made fun of me for loving you too. This is like nothing can be better. How's everyone doing?
Good. That's all Famer time, by the way, Matt.
What's up, man?
Hey,
He's the
what's up, bud?
voice of Wook Plus, and he put together these intros, and he did a great job.
Well,
So how are you? How's everything with you? Actually, we're all good, but I'm really interested in how you're doing.
I'm all right. I'm in my office right now as it is, and I finished up work. I turned one computer off and I immediately turned another computer on. This is my life during quarantine.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you coming on. We've actually done a couple of things together, right? That I guess we'll talk
Yeah.
about. You wrote the tour guides for me, which were brilliant on the Wook blog during the tour bracket. And then
you.
most recently, you pretty much mastermind the 2.0 bracket. And I feel bad sometimes because I think like people that don't pay attention maybe give me the credit. And I'm just making it clear that there would not be a 2.0 jam bracket without Brian. Do you prefer? Yeah, Brian, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
Some people only want handles, and it's a weird thing. So I wanted to ask, but you totally
I'm a real
mastermind that.
person with feelings. I'm not just a retweet, man. So I appreciate you calling me by my real name.
I, on the other hand, am just a Twitter persona. So please only call me Wook or Tim. No, it's fine. I don't care. No, it's weird with this whole working from home. Everything blends together. This Wook stuff, the lot, working, your personal life. How's the balance been for you? Have you adjusted all right?
It's a good question. I think I feel like every week is a different level of adjustment because we keep getting these well, I would say for the last 2 weeks it's almost felt as though like we're going to be here for a long time. So you better find something to do to occupy your time, and I'm pretty fortunate in the fact that having both a child under 5, a pretty strenuous job right now that I feel fortunate to have, a hobby that I absolutely love to throw my time into, and the never-ending obsession of Phish, to be enough to take up time and make. There are moments where I can forget about the craziness.
Yeah.
Balance, I think, has been thrown out in favor of you gotta ride with it. I was talking with some friends last weekend who I spent a couple of years living in South Korea with, and we were equating the fact that, while we were able to go out, we had the amenities that we don't have right now in terms of a social life and in terms of, working and operating restaurants and bars and, things to do outside of your home. Every day you felt like you were walking on eggshells because the cultural differences were so dramatic that you felt almost like you feel right now. So I'm glad I have that as like a backdrop of, I can kind of live outside of balance, but it is what it is. How are you doing?
Good. I think you actually touched on something that's very key to me, and I think about a lot is that distraction, that hobby, right? Like the whole what we're doing right now, the Wook Plus thing, the brackets, the Phish conversations, all of this in a large way is that distraction or that balance to the grind, right? The hard work.
Absolutely.
And this comes across weird if you don't have kids because maybe you don't understand, but like I love my daughter, but it's work, right? Like it's not easy being a parent, so it's nice to have something for yourself. And I would give anything for my daughter, absolutely anything, but it's also nice to have. And so that really rang true with me, what you were talking about.
Yeah. I feel like I'll look back and I'll miss this time if we ever return to some semblance of normalcy, because the connection I have with my kid, is just like spend all day and night with him. It's awesome.
Is that messed up? Because I had that thought the other day and I felt really guilty. It's like, I don't want people to be dying. And I know there's a lot of people hurting economically.
Totally.
And there's so much there's like a lot of pain and suffering but part of me is going to be a little bit upset when I go back to my commute, when I go back to the office, when I'm not spending all day with my daughter and my wife. And I feel guilt. Like I'm really conflicted, right? Because I know this isn't a good thing, right? You don't want to celebrate it. It's a tragedy. It's a pandemic. There's a lot of pain, but personally, I don't know. Like I appreciate the time I have with my family.
100%.
I won't get near as much podcast time. See, I don't do my commute podcast. Like I'm listening. I like this kind of YouTube podcast thing we got going now. So that's where I got, if you remember, Brian, I
remember.
Yeah, I was listening to your vinyl show, which
Yes.
your guys' show is phenomenal. I mean, again, just A plus, because to me, that's a niche that, again, it's funny because you're always remembered here, the dead themselves, Phish themselves say, hey, listen to something else, don't just listen to us. Right. So you guys really have found a niche there of, introducing people to new music, and kind of helping people to, break that mold of getting out there. But that was so much fun. I finally found my Bill Cosby album. So that was I finally found my vinyl that I was the most embarrassed of. So I don't know. What was yours? I don't remember.
Which one, Matt? Why is there error? Which Bill Cosby?
Oh my gosh, I'd have to dig it up. It's right back here in this room back here. I immediately stashed it away the minute after I got it out because I was like, is this evidence? Maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't support Bill in any way right now. So that was my most embarrassing. I don't remember, Brian, what your most was. U2, the new album, was that like your most?
that was my I cannot justify this of the 5 that I pulled out. I was going through my collection after that. And I at some point I posted a picture of my collection on Twitter, and someone noticed that my wife's Mariah Carey vinyl was sticking out there. And I was like, there's parts of it that slap, there's parts of it that, like, you turn it up, the bass is right and it's good. But I was like, I would not go out to a record store and buy that. I can't personally justify that. I have a really good kind of hilarious record of this guy named Jimmy's Fancy, who does bagpipe music, and it's just kind of more hysterical than anything. I don't really put it on like a regular basis, but the U2 one is it's the only, you can only justify it if you're like a diehard fan. And I get it, man. I get the hate.
No, I love U2. I thought it was
tongue in
just
cheek. The intro thing, it's cool.
It's all
good.
Guy.
It's all good. It's all good.
So I want to ask a question. What is the most, so if you combined talent and like your favorite band with obscurity, right? Equal parts, because you introduced, I don't know, I'm always impressed with what I consider obscure music that right? I am myopic. Like, to quote from, you know what I mean? Like, I got Phish and Mo and, the Dead and like a couple non-jam bands, but I'm interested, out of all the bands you guys have covered, all the songs, all the albums, everything you listen to, if you combine best band with most obscure, what is the most obscure greatest band that you would recommend I listen to?
Ooh, there's so many layers to that question. It's not fair, Tim. You're like,
welcome to the lot, man. We're hanging out drinking and asking.
We're supposed to be
questions.
just hanging out and partying, man. Come on.
The most obscure band that I've never heard of, that plays only in the key of C, that Brian might know, that existed between 1999
the brilliance
and
of the question is he could make up a band.
I'm gonna
Please do.
I have a couple options in my head, so I'm gonna throw them out there based on where what and where so the first one I'm gonna list is a band that I don't know. I think this is a band that was obscure to me before I discovered them, which I guess like makes sense, but like they're loved by larger critics, but I don't think that they get as much of an acclaim as they should. And I think that every Phish fan should be obsessed with them, and that's Yo La Tengo. I don't think that there's any band in modern music that is as similar to Phish without having the 80,000 person festivals, in the sense that you can dive as deep into that band as possible and it never ends. There's a lot of really great live improvisational moments. It's very different from what Phish does. It's more in like the Velvet Underground, Sonic Youth type of route of like noise experimentation. But I've seen them around 10 times. I've never seen the same show twice. It's one of the only bands I know when I go there, I'm getting a completely new set list, completely new arrangements. And I know that they're going to play songs like The Story of Yo La Tengo, that are like going to be 17, 20-minute long versions where Ira Kaplan is just taking his guitar and just throwing it into the stratosphere. So I don't know if they're obscure.
I nodded as if I knew what you were talking about, but I don't.
Okay.
So
You don't know that band. But here's the thing. I know that band, but if you would have asked me to guess Brian's response, I would have gone 100 bands deep before I got to Yolo Tango.
It's-
well, he's an impressive guy. That's why we have him on.
I'm very,
That's
I'm
why we have him on the
yeah,
show.
I'm very
they're
impressed.
fascinating
I'm very-
because like they're the kind of band, like, to me, the marriage between them and Phish is only, it hasn't come together because of differences within fans, but you do see crossover because like there's a lot of people that will go to a Yellow Tango show, they're chin stroking and they hear Phish and they think, well, this is just goofy, this is hippie rock, whatever.
And they're
Vice
not wrong.
versa.
It is goofy.
Yeah,
but
there's
that's
a lot,
what we
yeah,
love
there-
about it.
Yeah, that's part of it. There's not a lot that's like hilarious necessarily about Yolo Tango, although they did a tour in 2011 where they had a giant wheel and they'd spin it before each set, and one of the sets was, or one of the options was that they would recite line by line a sitcom episode, and they landed on it once, and they did the Seinfeld Chinese restaurant episode, like episode number 4, and they got booed by their own crowd because it went on for like 25 minutes. It was the 3 of them on stage doing line by line. So they do like the absurd type of showmanship that Phish does. It's just in a little bit of, it's like a slightly different tone. It's not as
It
like
sounds very fishy,
punkish,
which I like.
yes.
And
Obviously.
and Trey's a fan, am I right? Like, didn't they open for Trey a couple times or some tab?
They
or
opened
some
up
sort of,
for a Ghost of the Forest show
Ghost of the Forest, that's
last
what it was.
year.
Oh, so they're still playing. I had no idea.
They're still playing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They released a
Yeah.
really good record in 2018 that I would compare highly to, if you like the Fukuoka 614 2000 show, that second set, like the Twist, Walk Away 2001, you would love this album. It's very late night, low tempo. It's great stuff.
Brian, you could have just been speaking a completely different language. I would have known at all what you just said.
we do.
Okay, then I'm going to step back a little bit.
Kevin just shared that, the great Wen over there. We just jammed that out in our thread the other day, right, Kevin? The
Yes,
Fukuyaka jam. Am I
Matt,
saying that right?
Yes. Everyone
the
needs to-
windows on Zoom are different for every observer. So
I'm
I
gonna
actually
point-
think he's the left of you. I don't know. But
doesn't Yola Tango do a Christmas run every year? That's something
Yes.
special about that?
Yeah, totally. So they do a Hanukkah run, 8 nights, based around every night of Hanukkah they do. They started doing it, I think, in the mid 90s at Maxwell's, which is a club in Hoboken, or basically just a bar. They've since moved to the Bowery Ballroom, I believe. My co-host Dave has probably seen Yolo Tango upwards of the amount of times he's seen Phish, and he's seen a bunch of these Hanukkah shows. They have a stand-up comedian that will start it out. They have usually an opening act, and then they play a couple sets. And they are I think another thing that would differentiate them is they're not as welcome to the idea of tape trading. I have a few bootlegs of theirs, but they're harder to come by. You're not going to see them on the re-listen app. But if you can track down their records, I would say the one thing that they do that Phish has always struggled with, at least until I think Sigma Oasis, is great, but they make really excellent studio records, like studio records that line up to their live shows in a way that, like, I collect them on, vinyl because I want to hear them in that sort of setting as well.
You know,
Hey,
when
hey,
people-
Brian. Go ahead,
people
Kevin.
used to-
Sorry.
when people used to still trade CDs, mail them in the mail to each other, I got a Yola Tango shell many
Nice.
years ago.
Kevin, you
Yeah,
brought
they're
up
good.
I'm sorry, Brian. You brought up a Sigma Oasis as being
Yeah.
a studio success. Do you
I
think
love it.
it's
do you not think that, Chad?
well? No, I'm curious what other people think about it, because it to me it's. I mean, I if you're talking Phish studio albums, I'm an early guy. I like.
Well, I
Riff
think a
Long
lot of
Boy,
people are.
farmhouse, stuff like that. Where do you think Brian? Where do you think Sigma Oasis ranks in that? I mean, I don't want to do a ranking thing, but you know what I mean. Like,
No, fuck
So-
it. Let's do a ranking thing.
so
top five.
Stay on brand. Stay on brand. We'll rank.
So my personal favorite Phish studio record is Round Room. I think I think it captures the band in a live kind of muted sound. Like I love like that combined with the Victor sessions, which I would do anything for them to release that at some point on like a Record Store Day vinyl. That's one of my favorite things they've ever put to tape. But I love that really like muted sound from a live session that you get out of them. They just walked into a studio, recorded a bunch of songs. It sounds like Phish. Sigma Oasis to me is not that. Sigma Oasis is the first time I feel like they were produced and it sounds like Phish live in concert. Like that everything's right. Fishman's drums throughout it, the synths that Page added to it, like
It's perfect.
they did something that I turn that up just a little bit louder than you normally would, and you can kind of trick yourself into thinking that you're listening to a live show.
I think that, and I'm not nearly as well versed in all of this as you, so forgive me, but I think with Sigma Oasis they hit something where they almost went like mainstream with the production without losing their identity, right? Like they got the quality and the production and just this really great album, but they didn't lose their identity. You still had a really solid jams. They went places. There was the ballad was is kind of cool, but then they also had these really dark moments. They had these exploratory moments. Page just, in my opinion, I mean, always Phish is my favorite, but personally, right? Like I'm a drummer. I always dig groove, but I think on this album, Page just knocked it out of the park. But I think there's a balance there that they hit with the album, that they hit like a big time rock band without losing their fishiness.
I think you hit something on the head there, that this album was made, I think, for the fans and for them. I feel like Big Boat and Fuego were made in this way of like
portray,
but also like how do we how do we make a record that appeals to rock critics who don't get us? And I feel like Farmhouse was like that, and Farmhouse has grown on me, but like Sigma Oasis feels like we're just going to make a record that is our record. That's how it sounds and feels to me. And
the only loser in Sigma Oasis to me is Bob Ezrin, right? Like Bob Ezrin has been shown to be.
He should have put Mercury on Big Boat and not called it Big Boat, and then he would have been fine.
I know. And Bob has done some masterpieces.
He had all. That's the thing, though. He had all of these songs. That's the interesting thing. Not all of them. Sigma Oasis wasn't, but what 75% of this album, Ezrin had during Big Boat, and he chose everything that's on Big Boat,
right? Or just different stuff like that, right?
Well, that's one thing I love about Sigma Oasis compared to like Big Boat and Fuego Joy, I would say in that sense, they feel like a collection of songs, whereas Sigma Oasis feels like a conscious thematic album where they said, we're going to begin with this idea. Sigma Oasis, you're already there. It's very hopeful. It's very rock and roll filled. It feels like a 70s, arena rock song. And we're going to end with a song like Thread that you almost have to return to the beginning of the record to feel normal again. And that's a unique thing for Phish.
Go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
Riff seems to be the doppelganger to it.
I totally feel that. I totally feel that. Rift and Billy Breathes. I would even throw Story of the Ghost in there as like, those are thematic records that you go on a journey, and Sigma Oasis does that. It's hard for Phish, who does that so often in second sets, to do that in the studio. And I love how they did it here.
So I'm curious, actually, for the Wook Plus crew now. I'm going to go off gas, but whatever. We're throwing an audible.
Hey,
Brian's
hold on.
album.
I'm sorry, Brian, you're sticking around, right? You're not going anywhere, right?
Yeah, I'll hang.
Okay, cool, man. Cool.
All right, so Brian mentioned Round Room. I just really quick want to hear what your top album is.
Oh, all right. I'll go
jumping
first.
in.
Damn it. No, I'm not going first. Matt,
I'll go first. You guys want me to go first?
Go.
All right. I thought about it because it was my question. I think at this moment, Rift is the album I'm going with.
Do we drink because the Wook answered his own question?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yes. You drink because I want to drink, but it was like a group. It was a group question, and I'm part of the group.
But you started with yourself.
I'll go.
You were eager to go first.
Bless.
All right.
I'm gonna say this: bless Brian's 2.0 self. God bless him, because I love Round Room. I love Undermined. Like, both of those albums are phenomenal albums. But I'm gonna go Billy Breeze. Or sorry, yeah, Billy Breeze.
Yeah.
That album to me is the best produced, the best, back and forth. Like that album is the one.
I have to agree with Tim with Rift. It was at a certain place in my life. I was 22 or 23 at the time, and I was breaking up in a long-term relationship, and she was the last one she thought I'd betray. It just was like, yes, this is my fucking life at this moment.
Oh man, now I'm feeling bad.
Drink. I think Kevin's sad story, was that a drink?
Yeah. I don't know if that's on the rules, but
Well, if Llama was on, he would remind us of the drinking rules, but he's
Yeah,
not
there's
here.
a game. Find the game.
We need them.
Which album was Reba? Picture of Nectar?
Lawn Boy.
Lawn Boy. Which is not a bad answer, actually. That was up there
I'm
too.
leaning towards Rift with you guys, because once I figured out that Rift was a concept album, my mind got blown. But Lawn Boy was the first album I sat through front to back, driving in my car, listening to Phish, hearing Reba studio version for the first time, and having the chase, the Trey and Paige doing the whole trace, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
It blew my mind. So I'm gonna give a shot. And my very first show was Halloween '95, and I went dressed as Lawn Boy. I painted myself in green.
Oh, nice.
A bunch of shit. So that was yeah.
I still throw on Junta or Junta, and
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's
Junta
80s.
Junta, what is it?
Well,
Trey said
it's
Junta.
Junta. It's Junta.
Yeah, no, it's
Junta.
Junta
Excuse me.
Junta.
because it was their road manager. It was a joke. It was the guy they
Right,
fired who was
right.
their original road manager.
Yeah.
That record just perfectly exemplifies what they sounded like in 1988. That's that album. I throw it on the acoustic intro to Divided Sky. I almost wish that they would still do that, because
What's your
it
favorite
sounds
track?
like the Green Mountains in Vermont.
What's your favorite track? What's your favorite track off the first one?
Oh, Divided Sky. That's my favorite Phish song of all time. And that, there were moments where I was like, okay, I'm getting on board with this band. I have a visceral memory of being a junior in high school, sitting in my basement, listening to Divided Sky, and hearing how from the moment that they start the intro to it through the No Dogs Allowed segment that they married onto it to the end, it's all connected. And it was kind of that moment of, if you're going to listen to Phish, it's not passive, it's very active. And that whatever you hear from the start may not come back as a full coda, but the end of that song is unified with the beginning of it in a lot of thematic ways that you have to be there for the full journey. You have to hear it. You have to experience it. And that was just a big moment for me as a very, very early noob who probably couldn't even tell you a single show at that point in time, just knew that he was curious and interested in this music. That completely blew me away.
Hey, Brian, I'm sorry. Where do you live?
Denver. I'm
Right
gonna
outside of Denver. Yeah.
You're in Denver? Okay. I'm just curious. Go ahead.
I'm
Tim.
sorry.
Ask
I
your-
know.
ask your question.
That's the thing I gotta break, is not answering for our guests. I know. I wanted to.
I was.
We're learning on the job here, Brian. We're learning on the
This
job.
is episode 2, by the way. No, I just wanted to piggyback on what Brian was saying, because I think Divided Sky is such a cliche thing for me to say. I'm sorry, but is one of the few songs that I had this very deep, almost religious or spiritual connection to. And that melody is like the guitar solo, right? At the end of Divided Sky. I'm not a musical guy, right? I don't know how complicated it is or how hard it is, but it sounds almost as if it is like a God speaking to you. Like, it's such a powerful melody. It's perfect. And in its simplicity, I don't think it's overly complicated. Chad, you could correct me if I'm wrong. You know music, but it's just perfect. Everything about that song, the melody, the guitars, everything is perfect.
It's actually one of the first, I don't play lead guitar a lot. I just, because I'm a piano player, so lead guitar confuses me. I can play chords and stuff, but playing solos is tough. but I did
Sure.
kind of teach myself that Divided Sky melody at one point. Do-do-do-do,
Oh
and
my
it's really,
God.
it's not that hard to play if you really learn it. But here's my question. I want to throw this out to the entire group. We've all seen Phish live. We've all seen Divided Sky live. Have you ever had a moment where Divided Sky actually changed the weather for you at your show?
Red Rocks 93.
I knew it was
So-
coming, Kev. I knew it was coming, Kev. That was right there. Boom. Tell us about Red
I was
Rocks
gonna say the
93.
first show I ever saw was '93 Red Rocks, and that's
Oh, you were
what
both
happened.
there.
It
Yeah,
poured
we were both
all
there.
day. It poured all day that day. They were going to cancel the show or move it indoors. There was all kinds of talk. About half hour before showtime, stopped raining. They pushed all the gear out. By the time they hit the stage, you could see the storm going over Denver and just blue
Yeah,
sky.
it rolled out. Yeah, it was
Hey,
typical
guys.
Colorado weather at that time. Like it would rain cats and dogs, and then an hour later it'd be fine, and you'd go out there. But yeah, and then they came out and opened with that, and that was the first song I ever heard them play live at
Wow.
Red Rocks. It was beautiful.
Were you at that show, Brian? You're
I was
from the
not.
area.
So
Oh no.
I'm a 2.0 kid. I got into Phish in the first hiatus. So Divided Sky was like the song I wanted to see. They played at the show before my first show, and I just kept missing it by like one or two shows type of thing.
Yeah.
And then my first show in 3.0 was Fenway, and very similar to what you guys are talking about. It rained that day. They brought out the tarps, and the band came out. They sang Star Spangled Banner from the pitcher's mound. Walk out to the stage. There was maybe like a 10-minute gap, and this rainbow appears over. I don't know if any of you guys were at Fenway, but this rainbow appears in the outfield, and everyone's just like, there were a lot of people who didn't make it to Hampton, that was their first show of 3.0, and everyone's hugging each other, everyone's celebrating. And I'm, getting chills at the moment, being like, I'm going to get my first Divided Sky. It's going to be my first true song back. And they come out,
Nice.
and if you go back and you listen to Fenway, the sample chord, the first chord from sample, Trey like hits a chord and goes up the neck of the guitar too. And for like this most like just a split second, it sounds like Divided Sky. And I just like started crying. I was hugging my girlfriend, and then it's sample, and it's like the all-time gut punch moment of like,
It's the
I'm
same
never gonna-
chord, dude.
I'm never going to get Divided Sky. It's never going to happen. I got it
It's
two
the same
shows later
chord.
for the first time.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
no, it's- and that and
Yes, it's that A.
it's the same. It's the same
Yep.
A. It's the same
I
A.
was just,
Hey,
but I've never
Hey,
been
guys,
told any other
I'm
time.
sorry.
We got to
Hey,
guess.
I don't want to interrupt, but in true lot fashion, before I could get to everything I wanted to with Brian, we already have our second guest. And I'm really excited about it. So let's just go with
Dude,
it.
20
do it.
minutes is not enough with guests.
It's not.
Okay,
Maybe we'll
no,
redo it, but
We
I
have
love
to start
this.
this
I
at like noon Pacific next week.
Yeah, I agree.
No, we
I'll
don't.
leave it.
All right,
He's
I'm
here,
gonna
he's here.
try to do this transition. Bear with me. I don't want to mess it up, but let's go.
All right, do it. Do it.
From the incredible Phish and rap lip sync videos to raising baby chicks on the side, it's breakfast cereal lover and Phish trivia host queen, Missy.
Did that work? Oh, hold on. You're all muted. There you go.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, how are you?
Hey,
Good. Long day. Are we drinking?
Oh yeah.
We are.
You're
I am.
You're good.
We have.
You're
It's
good.
the lot. We have the pregame.
I know. I was watching you guys before.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. This is so much fun to have you here. I'm really excited about this.
Thanks.
Hold on. I'm bummed, Missy, that you were watching because we had a trivia question to stump you, but you might have seen the answer already.
Just born with the rain.
No.
Oh, you don't know?
Yo, you tell her.
I don't know the.
Okay.
Listen,
All
I
right,
don't
all
know
right,
what's my
sweet.
trivia
Okay.
questions.
On 10/31/95, Rosemont Horizon, Phish,
No.
Halloween, Quadrophenia. They're playing the chess game. What is the chess move the audience member makes?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Really? Llama? He's not here.
He's not here anymore. Chat
Brian, tell
assumed.
her.
Great way to it. But that's funny.
There was no
What
chess
was the
move.
answer?
There was no chess move because the audience member was wasted and couldn't do it.
Much
And
like
dressed as a Wookiee and dressed as Chewbacca, a Wookiee. Yeah.
I love that. That's so
Chad
good.
brought the same
I see
question
that.
on our thread to exert dominance as the superior alpha Phish fan. Apparently, it's the one question that he
Why don't
asked.
you do Phish trivia on Friday?
Well, okay, I will. I'll show up for it. I'll do it. I will get my ass kicked. I will. I'm not that big of a nerd. Like Matt over here is nodding because he knows he's gonna kick my ass in Phish trivia.
He did really well the last time. I was so surprised the minute we asked a question. It was like everybody knew the answers. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know any of the answers when my friend Mark, he did most of the questions, and I was so blown away about all the Phish nerds, and I love it. I think it's great.
Okay, can you give me an example of a question right now just to see how I do? All right, go ahead.
Okay. I'll give you
Wait,
one.
are we all answering this? How are we doing this?
No, I want all of you to shut up and let me talk to Missy. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. No.
All right, Chad, this is your show now.
It is my show right now because I just
Well,
want to see
I'll
if I
give you
can
a
answer
question
a
from
trick.
the last one.
Okay.
And if you want, you can give me questions for the next one. We do have a submit questions. Let's see, where's all the questions that I had?
Well, all of our dozens of listeners already heard Chad's question, so I don't know if you can use that.
Well, he could use it. Hey, it'd be easier for him to win a prize, right? we have some really good prizes for this one. I'm really excited. Okay.
Tim. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
You want a question?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. You'll know that one. Hold on. Okay. What year did the Giant Country Horns tour with Phish?
94.
91.
91.
See, this is where
I saw a Giant Country Horn show at the Bayou in DC.
The Bayou in DC. Georgetown. That was such a cool place.
Yes, it was.
Someone else said that too on Phish trivia. It's really funny.
Okay, but that's the level of question I can handle. Like,
yeah, that's a decent level.
Yeah. No, some of them are really hard, but this time we're going to do it a lot of multiple choice, so it's a little bit easier. I have recruited Chris Glushko, Chop, to be my official judge, so I don't have to deal with a lot of people coming. I think he's really good at being firm and being a good judge. So.
Yeah, for sure. And also ranking things. I actually want to ask him to come on a lot. Really like what. Yeah, he's awesome. I love what he does.
Hey,
yeah, I'm a tier 3. I'm a tier 3 trivia player for sure. Massive gap.
Massive gap.
Exactly. From all those guys. Because I think again, and here's the thing: get in there and play Phish trivia. Have fun with it. The guys. Like the best thing I love about Missy is she was able to really, think about this. 8, like how many people did you have in there, Missy, to begin with? Or just last week?
Yeah, that was we had 120, 130 at one point.
Wow.
Okay. And here's the thing, 130 Phish fans. Okay. And no one was an asshole. Can you imagine? Can you believe that? And that's
really an asshole.
Yeah, asshole. I don't know how to play that. But it's all about getting our community together, doing something fun. I got in touch with people who donated prizes. We can't go to shows. We all sit at home and stream the shows. And I just wanted to do something where we all saw each other and interacted and have fun and forgot about shit for an hour or two.
I can't wait. Now I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna be fun.
I was dreading
in case the guys haven't offered it yet, and it's not a great prize because our merch game is lax, but we could definitely offer some stickers or whatever, throw some Wook gear to whoever wins.
Yes, we have a whole bunch of sponsors doing prizes, but we have a couple prizes at first. We do need some more prizes for I think 3rd or 4th. We have prizes going all the way up to 8th place.
Well, 6, 7, and 8 can get some Wook Plus stickers. I think that's appropriate.
I think they should.
They should all get Wook Plus stickers.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Let us know where to mail them.
Yeah, well, I'll get the winner's addresses. I can't take care of any shipping and handling.
I have no problem. I'll pop them in the mail for them. I got a pile of them sitting here.
That's so nice. Thank you. And if you
Let's
guys
saw
have
smoke
any
alarm
questions-
is going off right now. Somebody's smoke alarm is going off.
That's
didn't hear
okay. It's
that?
the lot. It's the lot, man. Just burn
All
it
right,
down.
just
burn
making
it
sure
down.
nobody's burning down. Okay.
It's all right.
Down.
That was my oven. Sorry about that. That was my oven saying that it been preheating for a half hour.
What are you making?
Oh, I'm sorry. That brings us to a new segment we have called Cooking with Kevin. Hold on.
Is he making the blueberry cobbler or whatever?
Cooking.
I can't believe this is already up because I feel like Missy just got on, but we have another guest, and I feel like we should
Oh,
more the merrier, right?
Bring him
guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Just hear me
Oh
out.
no, you
No,
can hang
stay,
out.
stay.
no, you gotta
stay.
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 No, no, you don't
don't
have
have
to.
to.
All right, well now it feels like we're
Hey.
peer pressuring her. You can
No.
stay, or you
You
can
have
go.
Kevin.
half a glass of
Yeah.
wine.
We haven't got to talk about the lip sync videos yet.
Yeah, the lip sync videos.
Come
I never
on,
talked to
man.
Brian about
Hang
the bracket.
out.
We haven't talked to you about your lip syncing. I mean, shit. We got to get less guests, I think.
Thank you.
Look,
Hey,
we're-
I
No,
like to lip sync when I'm
more.
drunk. That's it.
Missy, hey Missy, thank you for the Kung video.
I know what.
Okay.
You
That was
asked. I took it.
fantastic. It was you nailed that. Good for you. That was pretty
Thank
cool.
you.
All right,
Snapchat
I'll bring
filters
in the
are
next
okay.
guest, but I'm gonna tell him that we're gonna still talk to Missy for a little bit.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Well, you're gonna play their intro and then
For the intro, talk. I'm gonna eavesdrop.
All right, let's do this. I'm gonna
Hang
try.
out.
I hope I don't fuck it up. So far, I did the first two all right.
Big Steely Dan fan and doesn't really like Slayer, Justin from the Phunion.
Oh, he's not even there. I don't think. I went in 2 minutes
No,
early.
that's his air
No, it's his
fryer.
air fryer.
Ah, fucking
So
white people in the air fryers.
I
That's like
gotta
a
admit,
dark-
I set this up before you all started talking about air fryers, and then you all started talking about air fryers, so it worked perfectly. So thanks for the setup, y'all.
Anything for you, buddy. Anything for you. That's awesome.
It looks like Darth Vader. Holy shit.
I just got this because of Phish Twitter. I'm like,
Fucking air
it's great.
fryers.
So
Air fryers and Thotty Thursday. We're just taking over, man.
Jesus.
what's up, everybody? How you all doing?
So, Justin, Justito, Phunion, what do we call you? How do we do this?
Whatever you like. Justin works, Justito, asshole, Phunion. It's all good to me.
No, you're all right. You're a good guy. How you doing? How's everything going with the quarantine and the COVID and all that? You hanging in there?
Well, I guess LA County announced today we're locked down for 3 more months.
Yeah.
So through July. So doing the best we can, but it's
Hey, that's 3 more months of great traffic, man. Great,
Right? Yeah,
great
that-
traffic.
that lockdown
I went from
didn't
Playa del
stop.
Rey to Dodger Stadium in 25 minutes today and back in 25 other minutes. It was incredible.
I've not been on a freeway since March. It's crazy.
I have
I
no,
I
drove
highly
the other
recommend it
day.
because they'll never be like this again. I highly recommend just at least going for a little joyride because it's totally worth it. Like it's crazy.
I drove the other day for the first time in 2 months, and it felt like I was 15 years old learning all over again. It's funny how fast you forget shit. I was like, oh, what do I do? What do I do?
to drive.
All
You
right,
forgot
I
how
knew
to-
how to drive. It just felt uncomfortable. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna jump right into this. You're the only guest that I knew exactly what my first question was going to be right from the
Oh,
beginning.
boy.
And I'm diving into it.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
What the fuck is up with 2/3 of the Phunion? Let's just jump into this.
Hey, you
I
know
don't
what?
care.
It's actually like closer to 4/5, to be honest with you.
Is there that many people involved?
We have a pretty big crew. I like your brackets, man. I think they're cool. Everyone else
You're
wanted
the
me to,
only
like,
one.
basically like shit on you for them. So I love them. I think they're great.
Do you think it goes deeper than that? Do you think they're jealous of my charming good looks or envious of the engagement I bring to the community? Or is it just a deep-rooted hatred of competition and binary choices?
I think we're all highly intelligent haters, in the sense where we all offend each other. At times, I'm like I like Metallica. They're like, man, fuck Metallica, you know. Or I remember.
I will
Sorry, go
give
on.
you that the Phunion is always has a wit. I think like a level of intelligence to it. Sometimes I'll admit sometimes it's a little bit beyond my line, but I'm not doing the satire, right? I'm not trying to piss people off or dance on that dance. But the thing that brings it back for me is that it's not just blind like hatred, right? Like there's wit, there's humor, there's satire. What percentage of your content do you contribute, do you think? Is it like an even split, or are you carrying it all on your back, do you think?
I don't know if it's an even split, but I'd say, I don't know, 40%. I mean, I don't know exactly, but yeah, I mean, it really depends on the day, and there's days at work I can't get to the Phunion, and other people put stuff up. I'm known as the non-funny one, or the one that everyone wants to change the password on, you know. So
really, you're my favorite.
Aw, thanks,
Yeah,
man.
no, seriously. I'll share a quick story. I don't want to overtake your segment, but when my daughter was born, Justin sent us some onesies, a Primus onesie and a Phish onesie from your daughter or son. Actually, I don't know if it was from a daughter or son.
I got 2 daughters, but yeah.
Yeah, from your daughter, and it's the Phish one's one of my daughter's favorite onesies, and actually, you gave us our first gift. The Boppy was the very first gift anyone sent us, and I don't know, you're a really good dude.
How great is a Boppy, by the way? I never knew what it was until we had kids, and
yeah, right.
Amazing.
So the lot just went from Phish trivia to child products very
For
quickly.
those without kids, can you kind of clue us into what the hell that is?
I'm not gonna get up and
like a half donut pillow thing that
I'll be right back. I'm gonna turn off my camera.
Her.
Chad, take over, and I'm gonna go grab it.
Yeah, put around like her mid.
Oh, I'm gonna. Okay, I will
hold
take
the baby
over
on it to breastfeed.
Okay, cool. You got that, Llama? Now,
I tell you,
It sounds like a fancy hemorrhoid seat.
yeah.
For breastfeeding.
Basically.
Is that a
I
bad
don't think
move to leave your show mid-set to grab something? I feel
Nah,
like
you just moved boxes on the screen.
I don't-
Fine.
I don't-
Hey, can I ask? Go. No.
This is a Boppy. This is what the Phunion sent
There you
me.
go.
Yeah.
Boppy. I just heard Evie say Boppy.
Evie.
I don't,
Evie.
Tim,
I'm sorry.
Tim, I don't think a 1.5-year-old can like something.
You are sadly mistaken.
Whoa. That's a controversial opinion.
They're a pile of clay at that point. Whatever you say, hey, I love this. They're like, cool as shit. I love this too.
All right, let's get this back on track.
Yes.
I love-
Can I ask? May I please ask our guest a question?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Justin.
Yes.
Hi. Nice to meet
Hello.
you. I'm Chad.
I'm Justin.
Hi. Nice to meet you, man. So what you do is satire. What's your background in comedy? Like, did you do UCB, or like, did you study anywhere, or did you just pick it up and run?
I was voted class clown in my yearbook in 1997 out of Sequoia High School in River City, California.
Nice. And so you walked onto the Warner Brothers lot and you were like, that's my resume.
Well, you look at my LinkedIn or something?
No, I have no. I'm curious about you. I'm curious about, like, what's your background?
Honestly, well, A, I basically work for Warner Brothers. So B,
I totally guessed at that. I'm
yeah, no, so that was good. Well done.
Holy shit.
But
I mean, it's Los Angeles. I had like a 1 in 3 shot.
Yeah.
I had it was either Warner. Yeah, that's pretty okay. Wow.
Order
Maybe I did
Scoob on demand on Friday. Anyways, yeah. So I've never done stand up. I've tried. I just never thought I was funny enough. And yeah. Thanks. I saw that look. All right. I basically wrote for various music websites. I had my own for a while, and back before we had to let him go, I found Pete in the Phunion, and it was like, people are making fun of Phish. Like, I could do this all day. I'm like, can I write for you? This is like, really? Like, you want to help out? I'm like, this looks fucking rad. And
So how much are you allowed to or be willing to dive into the origins of the Phunion and fan art and how that's all? I mean, I don't know. Are you guys open to showing how the sausage is made, or is this kind of an off-limit topic?
No, I'll talk about it a little bit. I won't give names of certain people at this point. I will say I do love Scotty B. I hope at some point it comes on your show. That dude did some awesome investigating into who we were at a certain point. So I know there's some names out there. I kind of felt we probably had to cut ties with Pete. He's gonna kill me for sharing this, but he walked out of a Vegas Halloween show or that run in 2014 before they played the Star Spangled Banner, and I'm like, man, this guy ain't down with America. We gotta get rid of him. So
wait, wasn't that Formula 5 though? Was that part of the decision? Am I getting into a topic I shouldn't? He was managing them, and there was some.
I don't acknowledge any band that never plays out west. So
all right, I don't want to derail you. Keep going.
They don't exist in me. But anyway, so yeah, so there's several of us, different levels of commitment, and we just try to make it funny. I know sometimes we cross lines. I'm definitely guilty of that for sure. Sometimes I get offended. The whole a lot of fans thing started. I'm a big metal guy. So I learned that Lemmy from Motorhead died from the Phunion. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I'm like, and I was like, what do you mean? Like a lot of fans Lemmy, like, fuck you, dude. He's just like, you're triggered? I'm like, yeah, I'm triggered, man. Like Lemmy's a badass. Like, and so that took off. So again,
you guys offend each other too, not just uptight jam band fans, but each other.
Yeah. And we're kind of, we're like the bad guy, heel wrestler of it all, where we definitely try to push boundaries and offend, but also make people laugh. And
see, I would say, hold on, Chad. I'm gonna take for a second. I would say that that's an important part of the scene, though. And it's funny because on my screen, I don't know how it is live, but I have Brian, Missy, and you lined up on the bottom. And to me, this is the scene and like a little microphone, right? Like you have, and I apologize if I offend anybody, but like Brian is a very knowledgeable statistics, gives some dates and everything, and like has that like nerd, which I love that, right? And then Missy is like the fun kind of like, hey, let's play this game, and everybody's hanging out and doing the social side of it, right? And then you kind of bring this like a little bit of like a darker satire, like Phish trolls, right? Like they fuck with their fans, and you fuck with their fans, and it's a cool microcosm having you three on. I didn't plan it that way, but you guys are good guests to show the different levels of the scene and the fandom.
Well, I remember, so I started, like my Phish online experience began with Fantasy Tour, and I learned within like the first 3 weeks I had 4 Phish tapes, and I was hyper curious, and I was super excited about this new band I discovered. And I jumped on Fantasy Tour and immediately got insulted and was like, if you can't take a joke, like this is not the right community for you. And when I'd made the leap from Fantasy Tour to Twitter, and I started spending a lot more time there, was when I early on started following the Phunion. And it was the same sense of like, there are tweets where you're going to be like, fuck these guys. And then you have to like step back, then you have to like step back and be like, wait, I'm in the wrong here. Like I should be laughing right now. So that is, I totally agree with you. That is like one of the most essential things about the scene. It's one of the most essential things about the band that I just love. And I'm being too earnest now, so I'm just going to shut up.
It's all right. I like a little bit.
I feel the same way. Justin, it's so nice to meet you. I've always like
you as well.
Knew who the Phunion was. I've always asked people, and they're like, I can't tell you, Missy.
It's a deep, dark secret. That's how we feel about Llama, actually. Like, people want to know who comes up with all the, like, Wook Plus
who's
stuff.
missing.
Right. He hasn't been here the entire show. We have this awesome show, and he's like, all right, I'm going to go eat tacos or something.
Well, I'll say it's weird, too. I live out west. Like, I saw Phish in 1.0, whatever, 10, 11 times and whatever. I knew there was a Phish community, but I was always so isolated from it. And I, as much as I love Phish, I love, Slayer or, punk rock stuff.
Steely
And so,
Dan.
no, Steely Dan fucking sucks. That's a fucking horrible band. But
Your promo says you're a big Steely Dan
Don't
fan.
make
not
Yeah.
me.
funny things about becoming the Phunion is I didn't, and I really apologies again to our departed Pete, but I didn't realize how many people I was like upsetting just by trying to make a joke like, oh man, you stepped on some Nitrous Mafia toes or this and that. I'm just like, what the fuck's the Nitrous Mafia? Like, just because living out west, I've never seen a Phish show in the Eastern Time Zone. For what it's worth, I finally made it out to
Come
Alpine.
out
last
here.
year.
I have a place you can stay at.
Alpine Central
Whenever
time,
shows
but-
get going again, you are welcome to stay at my place and come to a show.
And I wasn't going to go to Deer. I was supposed to go to Deer Creek this year, but I guess next year.
Alpine's in the Central Time Zone.
Yeah, so I've been to Central now, but I'm in the
Guys,
Gorge.
Thanks,
Llama's
Llama.
back.
Thanks, Llama.
But by the way, Llama, that Goose baseball card you had earlier,
Oh, let's go.
I will trade you for a Paul Gibson crotch shot card.
Oh,
First we
You
were
know-
trading stickers, now we're trading baseball cards. I love this, man. This
when
is
the lot got started, my
I'll do
dream
it.
was for
All right.
baseball card trading. So this is awesome.
Let's
Wait,
do
that's
it.
binding. That's binding.
And I'll say this real fast. The best mama dance ever, of course, is the 2016 San Francisco when the Giants won the championship. Go Giants, beat LA. Best mama dance ever.
Are you a Giants fan?
Yeah, I grew up in the Bay Area. I live in LA now, but I grew up in the Bay Area.
Okay.
So.
I'm gonna take back my offer then.
Oh!
Whoa! Oh no!
Taking it back.
Oh, we lost one of our fans.
So I'll throw in this Brandon Belt card then too. How about that?
Oh,
He's got a
Ooh,
couple
tweaking
Let's
the
start
deal.
the wood in the fireplace.
I
Do
had
you guys
no
mind
idea.
if I go back to Brian real quick? Because I feel bad. I wanted to talk. One of the things I wanted to do was ask Brian what he thought about the 2.0 bracket and how it's going, and then we lost track of time.
Bracket time.
Come on.
this also-
I'm very curious. He's the mastermind of it all.
Wait, and this also gives
Do we
Missy a
drink? Is
chance to-
this Tim talking about sports?
Oh wow, that's a good call.
Hmm.
I also want to go back to Brian too because this gives Missy time to fill her wine glass because it's looking pretty low.
Yeah, I'm
What
out
do
of
you-
Manhattan
boom.
too. If my wife is watching and wants to bring up a bottle of wine, that would be stellar.
Do you want me to text her? Oh wait, I don't
Oh
have
no,
her
she's
number. I
watching.
don't
I'm
have her
pretty sure
number.
she's watching.
I
We'll see if a bottle of wine shows up in my hand.
Our wives say they're always watching. They're never.
They're not. They're
watching.
not. Brian,
Yes.
so this 2.0 bracket just got into the Sweet 16. There's been some interesting matchups. There's been some interesting upsets. Tell me what you're thinking. Maybe like a layman's quick recap, but I'm very interested in your thoughts on it since you're the mastermind.
So today I voted against one of my favorite jams from my first show ever, which I feel like making those sacrifices are essential in the jam bracket.
That's what it's
The-
all about.
The SPAC twist from 2004. I've never heard a Phish jam like go silent like that and then build back up in such a joyous way. And for it to happen in 2004, that is to me, and I'm just going to give a preview here. I'm going to be voting against the Nassau Tweezer should it get to that point. Because I think it's a better jam overall. My biggest shock in all of this is this frickin' Down with Disease from December 30th, 2003, which I included because I felt like I was going to get more shit for not including it. And I put it as a 12 seed. It's a good jam, but it's not by any means one of
And
my
it's
favorite
killing.
jams. It's in the Sweet 16. It beat the Birds of a Feather from Great Woods 2004, which is one of my favorite jams from the last 5 shows. And it beat the Vegas Twist. It took down these two incredible 2004 jams that
So
I'm just like blown away by.
Name recognition. Down with
yeah, I was
that's
gonna
bigger
say,
name.
is it name recognition?
Part of it, I think.
I think
that-
it's that, and I think it's 04 anti-bias against 04. I think people look at 04 if they're not going to listen through and for me, the thing I love about 2004 is it's like the most raw and emotional Phish I feel like I've ever heard. The band's literally falling apart, and especially in those August shows, there's a lot of darkness. There's a lot of stuff I'm not going to go back and listen to, but when they really went deep during that month, it just like you can kind of like close your eyes and like reimagine Trey with that short hair, and like the whole fan base is just like
there's so many
trying to get them to
emotions
hold
just from
on
saying
to it,
that.
but also like that they should, that it was the best thing for them to do to walk away. But I really like the darkness that they tapped into. I have been, and I'm looking through it right now. I have the bracket up in front of me. I'm really surprised, but I'm pleasantly surprised how much everything has gone chalk. Like most of the top 8
You did a very
seeds
good
have
job.
been-
I'll say that as far as seeding goes, I think you did a very good job seeding it.
Thank you.
it's-
There was a
it's-
lot of back and forth between us. Like, did we get this right?
Yeah, and it's interesting because most of these brackets I've done, I don't know, maybe a dozen of them or whatever, but most of the time I don't outsource final decision on seeding, right? Like I'll ask opinions, but with this one, I kind of trusted you more than myself and gave you kind of like that ultimate decision on it. And I'm beyond impressed with how it would have been shit if I did it. I'll put it that way. I think you did a much better job than I could have done.
Yeah,
And
I'll vouch for that because Tim asked me to help him a little bit. And like when we did the Phish with the covers bracket, just the songs, and I put 2001 in like the top 10, and yeah, Tim was like, no, my friend. But cool. Thanks for your help.
Yeah, of course. It was fun, man. I'll give really quickly my picks for the final 4. This is what I'm hoping for. I hope that this doesn't influence any voters, but out of the
Fuck it, let's
Zither
influence them.
there we go. Out of the Zither group, I'm going with the SPAC twist. Out of the Rachel group, I'm going with the Nassau Gin. Out of the Cardamom group, I am going to go with the It Ghost. And out of the Frost group, I'm going with the Burgettstown Cross-Eyed and Painless, which is my personal vote for number 1 jam of 2.0. I don't think that Trey misses a note. It touches on so many different musical spaces. It gets really aggressive. It gets really funky. It gets into this like blissful 4 o'clock in the morning, lights just peeking in midsummer, decide to have one more beer and you're kind of like half awake, half asleep type of moment. That is my favorite jam of the whole era. And
Brian, I want to
all time.
say, and I mean this as a compliment, but I almost need a transcript of what you say because I love your podcast. I love listening to you, but there's so much depth and so many statistics and information that I almost need to be able to go back and digest it a couple of times. You know what I mean? Like you throw things out and you don't even think twice about it. You just know this stuff.
Or have one less Manhattan next time you talk.
All right, fair enough. I'm not too sloppy, right? I'm all right.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Good. We still have 2 more guests, so I hope
Comb
I
your
can
beard.
hang.
Comb your beard. Hey, are they
All
trying
right.
to get in?
No, not quite.
Okay.
Yes,
cool.
I'm so glad Tim is combing his beard. We did that kind of
know.
pre-show, and we were like, you got to comb your beard through the actual show. Are you guys liking it as much as we do?
Yeah,
we think that's solid.
I was not this full-time Wook before the quarantine, but now I'm like, fuck it.
Nice. Yeah, you're doing great. Also, by the way, every time you speak, it sounds like you're a 14-year-old kid that's about to kill me in Call of Duty. Because of your gamer headset.
You're such a dick.
My son plays Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Is he any good?
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Wook, you sound like Missy's 14-year-old son that's about to kill me. That's about to sneak up behind me and go, take that. Pow, 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 pow.
Talking a lot of shit when he plays.
Oh, yeah. What, is he rude?
Wait, I'm confused.
Okay, that's all right. Sit this one out. Missy, is your son rude when he plays Call of Duty?
No, it's like 14-year-old kids when I'm playing Call of Duties and the Xbox. They're like, "Fuck you, dickwad." It kind of just sounds.
It's awesome.
Has he said? Oh, hey, we have a new girl. Wait, play the intro.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was Jen, because of the Evie name. Hold on, everybody.
All
Please.
right, Jen, stand by.
I
We have
just
an
went
intro
with
for you.
it. Oh shit, this is gonna take me a second. I was not ready for this. I apologize. You guys don't mind. Hang tight.
That's why it's live
Two
without a
drinks,
net.
technical difficulty.
She's a writer, editor, and cannabis expert, the Lucille Ball of weed and loving Mike Gordon, Jen Bernstein.
This is such a professional show. Now she's gone.
Oh no.
There she is. Yay.
Oh, damn. What's up, Wooks?
Hey.
I
What's
had
up,
to come
Wook?
look up the place.
Oh, what's going on, Jen?
How you guys doing?
Great.
Hey,
I don't even
Jen-
remember what you're talking about. This is chaotic.
It doesn't matter. Can I ask? Hey,
More
PBR.
PBR.
Is this
Boom.
appropriate?
Boom. 1 for 3, 2 for 5. Hey, so how do you feel about our boy Fammer Time calling you the Lucille Ball of what was it, Matt?
Weed.
Of weed. That's
Lucille
off. That's
Ball
straight
of
off her
weed.
Twitter.
Direct quote from her profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
what's that?
And,
what's that?
and it's
about?
accurate.
What's that
Oh, I
about?
just love comedy. I love all things. So, having Destito on and the Phunion is like right up my alley. I've got,
Boom.
mad props for the Matt is a props for the Phunion. I love all you guys. I don't know who the fuck is who. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all good.
It does. It really doesn't. I mean,
It doesn't
that's
matter.
what's great
lot.
about this show. It's a mishmash. It feels like Lotsy. Like you have
Yeah.
a couple drinks, you smoke a bowl, you're getting ready for show. People show up. You're like, oh, I'm pretty sure I know you, but fuck it, let's just drink. Whatever, it's fine.
It's all good. It's an honor to be here on the lot with all of you guys. This is probably where I'd be. Maybe a couple balloons in my hand. Definitely, blazing on.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Missy to hit the whippets. What's up with the whippets? That's what I'm ready for.
I just said that and I was like, oh, I just got a case arrived today. Oh, I like to do them when I watch the Phish shows on Tuesday. I've limited myself to Tuesday nights.
We all do. That's like, it's funny because the scene now is like,
Fair
fuck the other 6 days, but Tuesday nights we're all like, hey, it's back to the normal.
I was
Wednesday
trying-
morning we're all gonna be miserable fucks again, but tonight we're chilling.
Yeah, I was trying to decide if I was going to start microdosing today because I've been talking about microdosing May on my 420 show, The Beautiful Buzz, over on Instagram.
Check that out, everybody.
So I had on this amazing woman yesterday who was telling us, how to take 0.2 grams, 3 days on, 2 days off. And I was like, oh, sweet. I'll start microdosing today. But then everybody decided, fuck it. Let's just go macro tonight because it's Phish, dinner, and a movie.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm going to stick with the plan. I'm going to try it. And look, right now, when we have, so much anxiety, we're stuck inside with our kids. I don't know if you guys are parents or not.
I think a handful of us are.
I'm lucky enough to have this safe space over here in another apartment where I just, get to hang out.
Escape. I'll say it. It's fine. Non-parents might not get it, but you escape. It's cool.
It's my little weed den. I love it. It's my man cave, my woman cave. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But no, it's like quarantine sucks, and I don't know, what are we gonna do, dudes? Without tour, I think it's hard to recreate the live experience, but getting together like this is really fucking cool. So,
amen.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think you're hitting it on the head. Like, I don't care. Maybe some of the other guys do. I don't care about quote unquote ratings or viewers or any of that shit. Really, the precipice of all of this is to hang out and try to have some normalcy to this
precipice?
situation.
Yeah.
Am I
Ratings.
misusing my big
Precipice?
words?
Ratings.
Yeah, I'm not great with my vocabulary, but the point of this experiment is just to hang out and bring some normalcy to the situation, have some fun.
Who is good with words is Tom Marshall. And so for the last couple of years, Tom and I have been working together on a hemp CBD business.
How's that going?
It's going. I mean, look, you can't have events now, and we were basically going to have like a huge hemp CBD show right at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, and just go like, really big out there. But no more large gatherings. And truthfully, where I think the magic is, and always has been with THC and cannabis. And so to kind of, pivot away now from CBD, and knowing that the real gateway drug is CBD. And now that everybody's comfortable with CBD because it's benign and it's good for everyone and doesn't get you high, reintroduce the THC, go, full out, and, let's talk about weed. So that's every day at 420.
So
I
mushrooms.
love it.
I tried to understand, I think, everything you have going on with your resume, because you do a lot with cannabis, right? You have a couple of groups and you have your social work, right? Like the things you do. I don't know if it's social.
Like,
I don't want to butcher
my friends trying to, get everybody.
So what are you doing with it, with cannabis, with everything going on? And you have the thing with Tom Marshall, but what else is going on? Because you have a bunch of stuff, right?
I worked for High Times for 7.5, 8 years. Still write for them, but the writing was on the wall when they were moving out to LA. And I gave birth to my daughter, and I was like the first woman to go back to work at High Times, like after having a kid. And I think I might have been the first woman to have a kid at High Times. Anyways, I went to Magna Ball, right? I went to 7 Phish shows with my daughter in utero. You can see me on the Magna Ball video packing my vape pens.
Oh, I have pictures of us on tour where you were pregnant, for sure.
And, people are like, and a lot of women ask me, should I consume cannabis, during pregnancy? And I can say, look, I can only speak to what worked for me. But my daughter, I knock wood, no complications, nothing. Like, I felt great during my pregnancy. And, I want other women to feel great too. There's no reason not to. And I rocked out at those Phish shows. I even waited and did my line for the rail, because if you guys don't know, I'm typically a Mike's side rail rider. And I spend my time in line hours before the shows, because I love every single minute of being on the floor. And I was on the floor in Alpharetta at this show.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So, and it was at this show that I decided I was definitely a first tube in the first set kind of gal.
Nice.
Holy shit.
First tube opener, right? Is that, I mean, the best.
Such a great opener.
No spoilers though. No spoilers.
I have this debate with my Phish buddies about this. Is it better as an opener because it sets you up right, or is it better in the encore because it sends you off
both.
On that note of awesomeness?
You're setting the bar
both.
high.
I agree with both.
Justin says both.
See,
I love as an opener, good energy, and then if it's the encore and you're leaving on that just
that high note, because if it's like the opener and then you go into something else and the show goes downhill after that, you're like, well, at least we had that opener. But as a closer, you're walking out there on that
Hey,
moment
my thing. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry, I think you're about to say.
I was just gonna say, I think back to the Fuck Your Face show that opened up the show. There's they could have come out with a couple other F-related songs, and nothing would have set the bar as high as that did.
But that's such a special show. That was, right. That was,
and that just set the bar from from there. You go to Uncle Pen, you go to Carini. You always think back to the energy of that first tube.
Yeah.
I just want to keep dancing after first tube, and if first tube's the encore, then I keep dancing, but the music's over. If it's the opener, then I just keep dancing all night long. Yeah.
Hey, what would you rather go home with, the high energy, or home or wherever, but high energy first tube,
all right, so
or I don't like the song "Show a Light." It's just all right.
I'll say this. First tube is a showcase for Trey. I mean, come on. It is super indulgent, stroking the ego, and I want it. I want every single minute of him getting fucking dirty with that mic stand and his guitar and channeling his inner Jedi. So, if you're opening a show with that, give it to me. And this show, I mean,
Right.
Starting at
amazing.
that point, I mean, so what is, Justin, what's your favorite encore though? Like what's the ideal encore to you?
I mean, yeah, I think
I thought he
first-
just said show of life, right? It's show
Oh
of
yeah,
life.
you know I love that. I mean, who doesn't want a more encore?
Mark
right?
it down, put it on the record.
You know, a sanity encore is always good. They don't do this, and I get it, but like I think a Saw It Again encore would be rad.
That's a good call.
Only because it builds and it rocks. And again, like I like the rocking stuff. Like I'm completely against slow llama. So
Oh,
right?
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah,
we have our
slow
very
llama.
own slow llama.
Sorry, I mean, but yeah, I want like I remember I saw Ozzy Osbourne once, and he did his encore, "Mama I'm Coming Home," which is a ballad. I was like, I just watched Ozzy, and that was like sad. Like I want to have my ass handed to me rocking out of the venue. So I'm a defender of character zero. I'm actually cool with that as an encore. Just if you're coming back out in 5 minutes, you only have limited time with curfews or whatever. Rock my ass.
So, do you want an
home.
ass-handed encore?
Huh?
Do you want an ass-handed encore?
Oh yeah, totally. I would love that. Yeah, it's a great song.
No, but I get what you're saying though. Like there's something to it being a type 1 jam, like a rager hit, hit it hard. I feel like for me, if it were night 1 of a multi-night run, I want to be eased down, right? Like I don't want to rage.
No, not at all. Dude, and Alpharetta, like Phish just brings the heat every single time. I have never had a bad show to Alpharetta, even in the middle of that fucking tornado or whatever, when they
It is a
stopped in the
great
middle
venue.
of Mound.
I do love
and then
Alpharetta.
Started second set right from
Damn.
where, like the exact note.
I'm getting so
Oh,
fired
that
up
was
right now.
crazy.
I'm getting fired up for this
Chad,
show.
what'd say you? You got some contribution?
I'm excited, Jen, that you just
Sorry.
awesome.
I know. Even on Zoom, Jen brings the energy. It's
I feel
great.
like we're overlooking. I don't know if this is not the best encore ever, but Hartford 2010, when we had the Sleeping Monkey and a Tweezer reprise, and then the noise is still going on, and we get another Tweezer reprise. I don't know how much higher I could have gotten than that moment.
I'll say the
I was gonna-
ass handed.
I love you, Brian.
Oh, that's a good one.
With the I think it was a Sleep Monkey encore.
Yes.
And then they did it, but ass handed with the reprise, whatever. But
Oh yeah,
was
singing the
Twitter.
ass-handed lyrics to Tweezer reprise. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
that was a great show too.
yeah, that was.
What about your favorite opener? What do you like to see a show open with?
Punch you in the eye.
Yeah. Fine.
Buried Alive.
Got
I'm
agreement?
Buried Alive was
Yeah,
my
Buried
call
Alive.
too. There's been a
Yeah,
number of
Buried Alive.
MSG shows where they open up with Buried Alive and you're just like, fuck, this is gonna be a great night. You know it's
Yeah.
gonna be a great night when they open with Buried Alive.
I actually like the
Also,
recent
Divided
trend
Sky.
of yes.
I like a Divided Sky opener.
Oh,
Always
nice. Nice
Makes
call.
me
there.
happy.
I like a landlady opener.
I like the
Yeah.
recent trend of cavern opening shows rather than being like a set closer. I like you come out just like those drums start going off and
Yeah.
Hey, what's the
I-
best Phish opener ever?
Farmhouse?
Very nice. Good.
Killed it.
It's the right
Nice.
answer.
Mic
Whatever.
drop.
Ding.
That was
Mike
as a
drop.
kid, so she likes.
And she walks off. That's it. That's all she's
Boom.
got.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a point though. Might as well get the bad song out of the way.
Oh,
Oh, why you gotta be like that?
I'll say this. I went to Gorge 2018, whatever it was. Like, she's like, did they play Farmhouse? I'm like, yeah. She's like, how was it? I'm like, it was the second set. I didn't really like where they played it, but I like the song. But Farmhouse opener, yes.
Have any of you guys asked Alexa to play Phish? Because she's terrible at selecting songs.
Oh no,
Well,
I
that's
never.
why every millennial or younger knows.
Started playing Farmhouse.
Yeah, you ask her to play. That's why I bring it up, because you ask, hey, Alexa, play Phish. It's Farmhouse and it's bouncing around the room.
Welcome.
Like, no, Alexa, fuck you.
I did a Phish channel. I did a Phish channel on Alexa, and the first song they played was "The Cavern" from Rhode Island in '98. The Funk
That's
Cavern. with
way
the
better
different
than
lyrics.
my Alexa. Your
That is,
Alexa's way better than mine.
it's a shocking pick.
That's because I smoked her out beforehand. I smoked her out.
You
and she was good
hotboxed
to
your
go.
place, and Alexa was like, hey, man, I got this. Don't worry about it.
The people
I did
in
a
the chat
podcast
are
with-
saying fluff.
Fluff?
Fluff ad for the opener, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
That's
it
a
opened up
3.0
in
thing.
Bruno, so.
That's a 3.0 thing, yeah.
No, don't stop.
All right,
with the
listen up,
point.
Boomer.
Pose.
Oh. I don't want to get in a generational battle right now.
Yeah.
And Chris can't call
Ooh.
anybody boomer because he's 124 years old. So
Yes.
All of my
Somebody
40s
said
have
Marcus
been
Suba
born.
policeman.
what?
That would be a weird opener. Yeah.
Wait, everybody drink. Hold
Jen.
on.
Break,
Awkward
yeah,
pause.
conversation.
Awkward
killer.
pause after Chris said
Hold on.
something.
We're all gonna drink.
Tom
Awkward,
wrote
sorry.
Monkey Super Policeman when he
yeah.
was like in 3rd grade. He
Right.
said, I was watching this show with him the other day, and he said he wrote Monkey Super Policeman in 3rd grade. I was
Yeah.
like, that's so cool. That guy was writing from a very young age.
But it was the
Yeah.
Phish trivia.
bid you to have any Leafmon, right? That came later.
That must have come later.
That
Yeah.
came in high school.
Yes.
I mean, think of that. I mean, that's just crazy to think. Like,
It's a good song.
I was at a show in Kansas, okay, where they played Macasupa Policeman because one of their security guys got busted at 2000, in the venue, and they never played that venue again. So yeah, Jim Tobin got busted at the in Kansas. So that's why we don't get a whole lot of Midwest shows. Because they
Vocalism
literally
drink.
bust the
What
band.
about when Paul Languedoc got busted and they did Paul and Silas at some show back
right,
in
yeah.
1.0?
I'll probably
that
get
what
blocked
this
for
song
this.
is
Conversation
I've never
killer,
seen Maka
conversation
Super Live.
killer.
Sorry, Justin, what was that?
I'll say I'll probably get blocked for this. I've never seen Maka Super live. It's
What?
just it's a
Get
skit.
out. Kick him out. Kick him out.
Yeah, right.
I will not, but
I'm
I've
with
seen
him.
it
I've
his
never seen
fault.
it live.
They always play it at the Gorge when I don't go to the Gorge. So if you want to see Maka Super live, go to the Gorge when I don't go.
you're
When will
West
they-
Coast, so I get that. I feel bad, but I get that. You know, I don't feel bad for you guys though. Like we have a couple, right? Travis, Chad, Justin.
I've seen Makasupa 57 times.
Just move out
I'm just-
east.
Fuck.
Like if you're a
I'm just
Phish
kidding,
fan
I'm
and
kidding,
you're
I'm
sad
kidding.
about it and it's a big deal, then come out here. That's
They
know,
opened
or-
Red
or just
Rocks
come out on
in
tour.
96. Red Rocks, one of the Red Rock shows with Maki Supa. I think it was the night after the riot shit went down. They opened the next night with Maki Supa.
I can't wait to see your
I know
guys'
that show.
production on Red Rocks, by the way.
Oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be
It's
epic.
gonna be real good.
We're putting
shop
something
talk.
together, but I haven't seen it yet, but it'll be awesome.
You know,
Drink,
I
shop talk, drink.
forever wanted to see if I could. I've never caught one. And they did it all the time in 95, 96. And it was always a thing, same as Brian said, show before, show after. Still haven't caught it. There we go. I go killing
A
the
couple.
competition again.
Well, say
Drake.
taboo topic, but like, what is everyone chasing? I mean, besides that, ha ha ha.
No,
I'd give my left nut to see a ha ha ha.
Go first.
So, yeah, please, Missy, what are you chasing?
I like to hear a Phish play, Ride Captain Ride. They haven't played it in
Mm.
so long. I've been
I
chasing
thought of San
that.
Francisco.
Energy was my last one, but now they work with Energy. But I want to hear Ride Captain Ride. Put it out
That
there.
would be sick.
Yes.
I've got no Harpua over here, and it's like the most
Oh,
heartbreaking
no.
thing. It's
I
brutal.
feel so bad
No.
for you. You really need to get one very soon.
Wow.
I'm chasing Albuquerque. That is my cover that I would do anything. I think it's been like 9 or 10 years since the last one. And
I saw the first Albuquerque in '98. Yeah, in summer. I think it was in Texas, somewhere in that Texas
Yeah.
run.
It's like
Yeah.
Dude, we're just
Huge-
flexing
yeah,
stats
draw
all over
myself
the
that
place.
Boom,
Boom, boom.
Dude, the Phunion is gonna make so much fun of us tomorrow.
Oh no, this is great. Like, no, you guys are all awesome. I'll make fun of you. The
Tomorrow,
others
I think tonight.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They're probably fucking with us right now. The other 2/3.
Right now. Is
Yeah,
anybody
true.
on
I haven't
Twitter or
gone
chat?
online. in a while.
4/5.
4/5. I'm
Fifths.
sorry.
fits.
I'm trying to learn Ride Captain Ride really quick for you.
I've never seen a Wilson, I think.
So
What?
What?
Wilson?
What?
What?
Do you go to
Yeah.
shows?
I got Harpoon.
Oh, that's how
and
you got to
Wilson.
see him. You got to go to shows.
Exactly. Like, what?
No, you didn't get that part. Oh yeah, sorry, buddy.
I
I got Wilson and Harpua in my first show. So far I'm like
Madness
I'm gonna
is-
say something like a story. I don't want to come across douchey, but I don't care. Maybe I will.
So douchey.
After Baker's
So
Dozen,
douchey.
I lost the chase a little bit, if that makes sense.
After Baker's Dozen, I lost the chase a little bit.
Fuck you, Chad. Seriously,
I love you,
man.
Tim. I love
Well,
you.
I'll,
bro.
I'll,
I
I'll agree
love
with you on
you.
that one, Tim. 'cause, like, I don't really, I
No,
don't really chase anything. I don't really. have
Leading
anything I
up
chase.
to
have
it,
a
I
couple
was
buddies.
right. I had certain songs I had to see, but I was fortunate
Yeah.
enough to be able to go to those shows, and I saw so many things. And then it changed the perspective on me. It was no longer about collecting stats or collecting songs or my bullpen or my cards. It just became about being in the moment and seeing friends and listening to music. And I'm not judging, right? Because we're all chasing in some way certain things.
Well, yeah,
but,
you always
like,
want to hear something. But
right,
I don't
but that
really,
was the moment for me where it went from, like, I had never seen lizards before that point. When I finally caught it at the Baker's Dozen, it was like something clicked, and I was like, all right, I don't give a fuck what I see now. Like, I don't care. You can play Big Bow in order. I'd probably be a little disappointed in the moment, but I'm gonna have a good time because I'm with friends. And
well, like I chase
Jen-
friends that my friends want to see. Like I chase their songs. Like one of my buddies has never seen Tila, so I chase that with him. Like I want to
Yeah.
be there when he gets that, and like I want to be there in moments that like my friends haven't seen, because I've seen pretty much everything I want to see, and like I'm cool
that is the
with
sweetest thing I've
what
ever
I've been
heard,
at.
Travis.
Oh,
So,
Trav, you
like,
sweetheart.
so I want to be there with all you guys when you see your moment and your
Yes.
show. Like that's what I want to see.
Jen,
That's what I like.
Jen, did
So
you
good,
see?
Western.
Did you see all 13? So how many Baker's Dozens did you do, Jen?
I went to all of them, and I went backstage twice.
Nice. Was it, now that,
I knew I would throw it to
Evie
her
was
and she would
definitely
flex.
one.
Yeah.
I knew
yeah,
she would
tell
flex
us,
the most.
Tell us. Tell us.
there's the flex.
We were guests of Mike's, obviously. Big Mike fan family. And we brought Evie backstage. It was Scott's birthday. So we got to have like dinner and catering, and, you know, like, it's just like everyone's family. It's like there's a ton of kids. They had a bouncy house. It's like,
Oh, that's cool.
like, you know,
That's
MSC. So we had dinner with Mike and Sue and Tessa, and Evie was young. She was like probably like, I don't know, let's see, it was what,
17,
2017.
summer
She was
17.
like 2 years old. She was 2 years old. And Scott put her down on this chair, and she flipped backwards and like hit her head and started screaming. And I was like so embarrassed, but it was like my kid. And like, I of course like loved her and doted on her, but I was like so mad at Scott. Like, anyway, it doesn't matter. We had a great time.
It's always
then-
dads will
listen
always
to
mess
this.
that moment up.
Always.
Dads will always.
It was, you know, just didn't think.
Back to the
but
earlier
it was
question,
his
did you have a
birthday.
boppy?
It's so cool.
Did you have a
What's
boppy?
Did you have a boppy?
Did I have a poppy? What did you say?
A
One of
boppy.
those.
Like talk
Oh,
about like
poppy.
parenting.
Definitely had. Not there, but earlier. That's the one. But yeah, and then the
This is
second
fun.
time I went backstage at during Baker's Dozen, I walked into a totally empty garden, right? And the band was sound checking. And I like had to go around, and I was finding Mike's wife Sue, and she was sitting out like in like page side. I don't know what section that is. So like I walk there, and it's a totally empty garden, like, you know, with just the band sound checking, and I go to sit next to her, and they're practicing Mercury, and it was
How
just
cool.
like, I mean, incredible. But like Trey is playing and like staring like directly at me in a totally empty garden. So it's like, if people are like, you know,
Wow.
oh, Trey was looking at me or whatever, and you'd be like, oh,
No, you
okay.
had that.
Oh,
But,
yeah,
like,
what?
there was nobody else there, like just looking at me. And Sue turns to me and says, "Isn't it weird how Trey always has to be playing to someone?" And like at that moment, like Trey like turned his head, and like the whole moment was ruined.
I'm
And-
thinking about. I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt because I'm thinking about the opposite of that. Like, what if you were in a small bar and some rando dude was doing an open mic, and you've never met this guy before, and he starts singing directly to you and looking you in the eye, you would run.
It'd be probably
You would
pretty
run.
crazy.
You would run
Pretty crazy.
screaming.
Oh,
It's Trey,
great. It
so
was
it's Trey,
incredible.
and it's the garden, so it's cool. No,
So
it's
was
not.
that the night that they did Mercury or no?
I don't think so. They usually don't like sound check this like song that they're gonna do
Yeah,
that day.
So it's official. Jen does shows way more badass than I do.
I'm a
Yeah,
I was
but
at
she-
those shows, but I was not any. I was
left.
like in the 200s. Like
Yeah,
you
but
know.
you both did all 13 Baker's Dozen, so that is a badge, right? That you all deserve.
Perfect
We should
attendance.
make badges for everybody for that. I
How
mean,
many people do you think actually did all 13? Like,
a lot. I think a lot of people did.
but so what's the venue's capacity? Like 20,000 or something?
Yeah, 18.5.
I thought it was 14. Yeah, I thought it was 14.
So probably what, like 5,000 maybe? 4,000 or 5,000 people?
Well, 3,000. How many people got donuts?
I
How
don't
many?
know.
It was like.
Oh.
how
I
many-
should do more
3,000
research before I
donuts
ask that question.
Does,
Hey, the
does
current-
anybody have a donut from every night?
I know. I
Saved?
piecemealed it. I was poor. I just bought a ticket every month. Every paycheck, I got a new ticket.
No, I mean the actual donuts. People saved the actual
Yeah,
donut.
like
So weird. They were on eBay
No.
the next night. It was so weird. Hey guys,
Who?
I'm gonna interrupt real quick because we have our last and final guest. So I'm gonna try to.
Is it Al from Mo? Because Al from Mo's already here, by the way, over there. Did you see that? Sorry.
Oh, it's
That's
okay.
not Al from Mo.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about inviting Al to the live. You guys think he'll join?
Yeah, we could probably pay Al to come.
I
hang
saw him in
out. They're
Charleston.
doing that.
It's
Give him
only
a high
$100. $100. Al will come in here and Chuck. It'll be
Cameo.
amazing.
All right, let's get Andy in. Hold on, let me not fuck this up.
Okay.
So many steps. I'm gonna fuck this up.
From playing for the children in the Rock and Roll Playhouse to having the best recipe for DIY Chick-fil-A nuggets, it's Andy Greenberg.
How did I do? Did I hit that? I think I did all right.
Yeah.
You killed it, dude.
Andy,
You killed
my-
it. Andy's here.
My friend, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Doing good. I'm really excited to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you. Am I just on time?
Yeah, man, you're doing good. It's
Perfect.
casual. Nobody cares. It's all good.
Hey, everybody.
So how's everything down in South Carolina? How you been?
Pretty good. My hair's getting real long. I mean, like, this isn't a ponytail now, so I really have grown a lot of hair. I'm feeling a little bit like Albert Einstein.
I like it though. I dig it. It's a
Yeah.
good look.
Hey, thank you. I think I might just keep going with it.
So do I need to tell anybody? I don't think so. You're pretty well known in the scene. I guess if somebody's watching, you are the lead guitar player and singer for Runaway Gin, the dominant, preeminent, perfect, two-time award-winning Phish cover band based out of Charleston, South Carolina. I'm a huge fan. I'm kind of fanboying out, right? Like to have you on here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you having me on. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So how have things been now? Like I mean, I know you have your own career outside of it, but you spent a lot of time playing live music and doing gigs. How have you been dealing with this whole COVID thing? How is it for a musician right now?
Well, right now it's about the same as it's been, I guess. I mean, we've gone through waves, I think, just like everybody else. When it started off, I was doing a lot of, I had a lot of video footage that we had accumulated from probably like mid 2019 on. So I started kind of trying to bounce all that video and audio to get some streams together to, keep something going. I think definitely as a musician, it's keeping busy is real important. So as to not sit back and sort of think too much about the fact that we're not going to be able to, go out and play very soon. And hopefully it won't be too much longer. But at that point, that was kind of my game plan, and really spent a lot of time learning how to do video editing and getting content ready. And then my bass player Bobby had an idea that we do look at Jim with the bass. Woo!
Oh, it's badass.
Is that the one that I played? You better sterilize it.
Oh, Jen, I think you're muted. I'll unmute you. Don't worry.
No, I don't. It doesn't matter. Anyway, man, Andy, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You know what? When we were putting your little promo thing together, I wanted to make sure to use your band, and I went to YouTube and I found you guys doing "Punch You in the Eye," which we were just saying just earlier was like a lot of our consensus favorite opener. But
Yeah.
The second I was watching you guys play it, I thought of that guitar teacher guy video that went around, the guy trying to learn it. You've seen it,
okay,
right?
yeah.
And I was like, screw that guy. Andy kills him, man. Andy's way better, man. No, you sound great,
you.
man. Your band sounds great. Your band, the whole band, man,
They're
top to bottom,
They're
in the
so
pocket. I can't wait to see you live someday in like 2026, I'm thinking.
Thank you. Hopefully it won't be that long, but I really appreciate that.
Well, you can see it too now. Andy's been doing these quarantine. What do you call them? The quarantine sessions, or?
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention next. We started doing these things, these videos, which are called the quarantine sessions, and it's essentially each of us in the band recording our own parts on GoPro cameras or iPhones, and then recording the audio. And then we're going back with all 4 band members' parts and mixing the audio together. And then it all comes to me, and I mix all the video from each person with the audio and edit it down.
That makes sense. I was actually going to ask you. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because it feels you guys are so tight and like have a really good rapport between you. It feels like you're playing live, like you're jamming together, but you're doing isolated tracks, right? There's no way you could do remote jamming together.
Correct. I mean, it's been a really interesting thing to kind of explore, because it kind of brings into mind, like, what is live, what is jamming with someone live, you know what I mean? In the moment, that you hear someone do something, you will react to it, and thereby they will hear what you're doing and influence your next thing and so forth. So the way that we did it is basically kind of that same thing, but it's a little bit of an alteration, because you're sort of doing it without the feedback loop. In other words, you will hear what somebody else plays and you'll respond to it, but then they're not going to hear what you played until the final mix comes out. So it's kind of an interesting thing to record something and then wait a couple weeks before you hear the response to what you were doing. I think it kind of makes us appreciate even a little bit more the live chemistry, what can come from actually listening to each other in real time. I mean, obviously we could also get up there and just play and not listen to each other, and it probably would sound a little bit more like what these videos sound like, but it still does kind of sound live. It would be. It
does. You definitely have a live feel to it, but maybe that's also just from experience of playing together a lot and the musicianship. I think maybe.
I think so. I think we play together enough where we kind of have an idea of what the other people might do in that situation. So then you use your imagination.
So Andy, doing what you're doing now, what do you see as the future for the next 18 months?
Well, I'm doing a lot of work right now with trying to reschedule dates and kind of look at dates that we have scheduled and figure out whether or not it's feasible for us to actually start proceeding, and if so, in what modified form. We're trying to figure out how this is all going to work. In Charleston and in South Carolina, we've been kind of lucky. I think we've had like 9 deaths in Charleston County, and it's crazy that I would say that that's lucky, but relative to the rest of the country and the rest of the world, we've actually been really fortunate. And accordingly, we're even having, my favorite venue in town, which is the Poorhouse, open tomorrow, as it were. The deck will be opening with limited capacity tables.
I heard reports of that. I was going to ask you about that. So are they scheduling shows? Are they doing operations as usual, or is there like a modified way that they're doing things?
As I understand it at this point, and I'm not an authority, I'm just kind of going by what I'm hearing on social media, kind of the same as anybody else, but I am paying close attention to it because it's like right in my backyard, and we have a date scheduled there next Friday, which I'm not sure whether or not it will occur. So what they're doing, as I understand, is they're going to have a limited capacity on the deck. They will have tables, and you can come with up to a group of 8 people, and those tables will be distanced 8 feet away from each other, and one person at each table will be designated to actually order drinks. So there would only be one contact between a bartender and one person at the table. That way there's not multiple people changing hands, and there would only be one cash transaction, and everybody else would then Venmo the person at the table who paid for the drinks, essentially. Initially, they're going to do it with no drums because they don't want people to dance, because obviously people sitting at tables.
What kind of footloose nightmare is this that you guys are setting up right now? It's like,
I predict what's going to happen is people are going to
got to open with Footloose. I don't care. I don't care what else you do. You have to open with Footloose.
Yeah, so they're going to have no drummers initially to try and keep people from dancing. But I predict that by 2 or 3 shots per table, that people are just going to stand up on the tables and start dancing. So
you have the ability to get people to dance without your drummer. As great as he is, I think you can get people up and dancing just from your own groove.
I have a suggestion. I think Andy should try to get me to dance right now. Just with him and the guitar. That's all I'm saying, man.
Okay. Yeah. Give me 1 second to go grab one.
All right, man.
I don't have one readily available, so I'll be right back with the doc.
I just noticed Justin changed his name to World's Greatest Dad. How long has that been hanging there that I didn't see it?
Justin's Zoom troll game is next level.
Dude, since I changed it from Al from Mo 7 minutes ago, I guess.
Hey, Jen, you got your bass, so don't be afraid to get in with Andy when he gets it. Yeah, when he gets going.
Well, I don't have any. I don't have an amp here. I brought this from my apartment, but
Chad's got his keys.
Just make mouth noises, Jen. Just go like boom, boom, boom. Yeah, there you go.
You're strumming it, but the voice, it's just your voice. So one thing we learned last week when Amar was on playing guitar is if you're not playing a musical instrument, you should mute. Because Amar Grace, he played some awesome music with us, and some of it was lost because I think Llama's mic fucked it up. So he's not even here though.
It interrupts the stream if somebody says something.
Yeah, so everybody except for Andy and maybe Jen if she wants to lay down some sick bass tracks.
I think
yes!
Don't have a tuner, so
make me dance.
We're going old school here.
Like a dead show all of a sudden in here.
All right, let's see. How can I make you dance? Let's lay down a little loop here, I guess. Okay, so now let's see. I got my first thing here. Let's go. I'm trapped here as my senses bleed. Can't describe which things I need. You show up late and stumbling. True, if you are still Corinne, the captive gaze inside your eyes reveals the thing I tried to hide. Attempting to record this view, reflections drive me out of you. Time for the meat stick, bury the meat stick, take out the meat stick time. Whoa, shocks my brain. Whoa, shocks my brain. Time for the meat stick, bury the meat stick, pick out the meat stick time. Whoa, shocks my brain. Whoa, shocks my brain. Not long before this scene concludes. The end I'm seeking still eludes. My every effort to apply. The will through moments passing by. Yeah, give me some backup. And every time you say goodbye, the thing I can't identify reveals to me a hidden door that leads to several moments more. Time for the meat stick, bury the meat stick, take out the meat stick time. Whoa, shocks my brain. Whoa, shocks my brain. Time for the meat stick, bury the meat stick, take out the meat stick time. Whoa, shocks my brain. Whoa, shocks my brain.
Yes.
Watamagashak, Watamagashak, Mitasika Tikan, Mitasika Kakashito, Mitasika Tordash Sechitam. Watamagashak, Watamagashak, Mitasika Tikan, Mitasika Kakashito, Mitasika Tordash Sechitam. Watamagashak, Watamagashak, Mitasika Tikan, Mitasika Kakashito, Mitasika Tordash Sechitam. Watamagashak, Watamagashak.
Ah, yes. Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, thank you. I'm thinking about the meat stick a lot these days.
Well, we all do. We can't help it. We can't help it.
When one of my best friends got married in South Carolina, they made us all do the meat stick and learn it, to do it as their wedding dance instead of the electric chicken or whatever that shit is.
It's
The
great.
electric chicken? Has anybody ever done the electric chicken at a dance?
Drink.
At a wedding?
That's a drink. That's a drink.
Okay,
Everybody's
fair
got a
enough.
drink on that
Yeah.
one.
I went to a very fishy wedding, and they actually passed out like purple cards that had the illustration, right? The stick figure guy.
Very nice.
Where
nice.
was that
Classy.
distributed at?
Classy.
Right?
Honestly-
that was a thing, right?
Oh.
How did everyone learn the meat stick initially?
Trey
that
Paul,
drawing.
he did it at like 5 or 6 shows back when it first came out. It's starting in Japan and then.
Didn't they try to like break the record? Didn't they try to like break a Guinness Book World Records?
Yeah,
for the
but it
most
didn't
people
count
Regulars,
because
right?
everybody didn't turn at the same time. I watch the same content you all do. I saw that somewhere.
It's like herding cats.
Nobody
Tim,
wanted to turn away from
Oh, I
Phish.
know all about it.
Tim,
Spoilers,
you're ready.
Missy's
Tim, you're ready for
trivia.
Phish trivia. You're ready for Phish trivia, Dan.
Friday at 7:30.
Yeah, you can't use
Friday,
that question now.
7:30.
We all know it. We all know it now.
Honestly, my wife is not the biggest Phish fan, but when I ran into the kitchen as she's making dinner and went to the fridge and grabbed this, she's like, "What are you doing? Aren't you at your show?" She looked and she's like, just shook her head like she
Meat
knew.
stick.
Oh,
That's a
The
meat
song
stick.
the song can be a little uncomfortable, depending.
She
on
likes
the
she likes that song for what it's worth.
Go
but-
on. No, hold on, Kevin. Explore that. Go on. Why is it uncomfortable?
Yeah, let's dive into that, Chad. Let's not ignore that.
because they didn't mean it this way, but I mean it obviously has the connotation that it has.
Like all Phish songs do. I mean, Harry Hood, come on.
Fuck your face.
I'm never gonna listen to Hood the same way again. Thanks, Jen.
Doing that for you?
What about it?
My
Make it better.
buddy Tom used to sing "You Can Feel Good Lifting the Hood."
Oh.
Ew.
All right, I'm gonna mute Kevin
Ew.
for a
You're
little
hired
bit.
by the Phunion.
Out. Get out.
That's
Hey,
2
well.
drinks you got muted.
That's a big Kevin drink right
Wow.
there. That's a big
Wow.
one.
That's tough, man. That's a
Andy,
tough
that
challenge.
was fucking
You gotta
great,
go
man.
though.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
That's a
Okay,
good
thank
choice
you.
too. You could have gone any direction, and that was the right choice.
I think Meat Stick always makes him dance,
You got me.
Yes.
You got me. I
and
did.
so who is the Funyun? I don't even know.
What's up?
Justin,
Hey, how you doing?
Mike,
blocked by David
Okay,
Crosby.
nice to meet you. I
Yes.
don't know that we've ever said hi before. Great to
Yeah,
see you.
I'm Justin, Reverend Justino, the Phunion, or part of the Phunion, and
Four-fifths.
I'm playing Santa Monica. We got a great bar for you that has a awesome Phish cover band, and you can crash here
I'm totally down.
when we're open in 2021.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, we'll probably be available by then, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, your world is really different, Andy. Like down in South Carolina, you're talking about like opening up this week, next week, and like I'm in the Northeast, and that's not the conversation. The conversation is like October, November, like.
Yeah.
But I get it. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I get it. I don't get anything, but it is a different world. It's definitely a different world.
And I'm not saying that we're not going to open up and then have to shut it back down. Like I'm, realistic about it. I think that the idea down here is that we've got a lot of people that are kind of succumbing to the rhetoric about, people are getting more and more conspiracy theory and like, there's nobody. Do you know anybody who has had? People are constantly asking, do you know anybody? And I'm like, personally, I mean, I have a lot of friends and family in New York and all over the country. I've had family die from it already, but I'd say that most of the people that I'm talking to here really do. It almost seems like it's not real. We haven't seen anything that would make us other than by news and hearsay, unless we're connected to people in parts of the country where it is really bad. It really, it probably seems like a different world down here than it does. If you guys came down here, you'd probably be like, oh my God, what's going on? This is insane. And because that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, for sure. My whole family lives down there, and it's funny because like 3 weeks before they closed down, or 4 weeks even, we were already isolated, and they're like, "Oh, it's fine," and then 3 weeks later, like, "Oh yeah, we're isolating." I feel like they were like, you guys were like the last state to close and the first state to open. You know what I mean? Like
Iowa never
You were like
closed.
closed like a week.
That's the South.
And
That was Georgia.
Florida is having shows like starting tomorrow night. So if it doesn't work out there, you guys should come down to South Florida.
You're having concerts?
Yeah, tomorrow night is like the first, like there's a Dead cover band playing tomorrow night.
Funky
Where, at the
Biscuit?
Biscuit?
Not the Funky Biscuit, at Crazy Uncle Mike's. Like,
Oh, I heard about that.
and then there's like another.
Oh, the irony.
I'm like, like, what do we do? But like, so you know what? We can make some calls, and you guys should come down here.
Andy,
Uncle Mike's.
I've always wanted to ask you this a question. What is your favorite Phish song to play, and is it the same as your favorite Phish song to listen to?
Ooh.
Oh,
Wow, that
boy,
hammer of a question.
yeah,
That's
so
a
you
dope
got
question,
some
man.
time.
He had that one loaded, ready
That's
to
why
go.
he's the
He was like
boss.
all week long was like, Andy Greenberg, I'm asking him this question.
Wow. I mean, like my favorite Phish song, probably like the rest of you guys, is like, first of all, I'll come at it from the perspective of maybe the way that I felt before I actually played Phish music live. My favorite Phish song was kind of changing. Like, I'll give you an example. Like Big Cypress, for example, when I was there, I was chasing Horn. Horn was the song that I really wanted to hear. You know what I mean? So it changes. My first show in '95, the song that I wanted to hear was Sample in a Jar. You know what I mean? You know, and it, looking back on it, it's like, whoa, that's weird. Those are weird songs to kind of chase. But, you know, now looking at it from an audience goer situation, I really don't have songs that I'm particularly chasing as much. I don't have that kind of expectation on shows. And then, you know, so for me as a listener now, I don't particularly have songs that I really want to hear. Sometimes I will, like sometimes a new song will come out and I'll be like, oh man, I really can't wait to hear this one play live. I was really enjoying Home whenever that was coming out, like off a Big Boat. And with the new album, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing Thread again. I heard it, I think, at Raleigh, and I really just wasn't prepared for that, unfortunately, but next time I will be. In terms of playing Phish songs, the songs that are the most fun for me to play right now are probably ones that are written out. Songs like Reba and David Bowie, or even like You Enjoy Myself. And those songs are really fun because you don't really have to do a whole lot of thinking. You just kind of go into autopilot mode, and then it's going through the motions of playing the part and trying to do it accurately.
Andy, hold on a second. You play Reba on autopilot?
Yeah,
I can't even listen to Reba on autopilot. Just listening to it hurts my head.
There's a big difference between playing this music and listening to it. You can listen to the music in a lot of different ways. But when you're playing it, your options become limited because you only have a finite amount of brain capacity to donate or attention to lend to it. So on one hand, in one part of your brain, you have the song memorized and you have the muscle memory. And then there's this part of your brain that if any of you have played music before, done like public speaking or stand-up comedy, there's a part of your brain that's like the voice in your head saying, don't mess up, you're gonna mess up, what are you doing? Oh, what did you just do? And then if you start entertaining that part of your brain, you're gonna mess up. So it becomes this real like Zen exercise, kind of like golf, like be the music, don't listen to the music, don't play the music, be the music.
David Bowie.
If you start,
Be the Bowie.
Be the Bowie, yeah. Andy,
Andy,
I'm trying to decide. My brain is divided right now about whether or not you and I would be the best quarantine roommates ever or the worst. Like we would probably drive each other fucking crazy, or we become best friends. Like,
hey, well, listen, I don't need any help on the being driven crazy thing. I'm doing just fine with it. So you might actually help that situation. I don't know.
No, man, dude, everything you just said is like right up my alley. Like right.
Oh,
like,
cool.
Yeah. I'm totally with you. And like, and I'm looking at quarantine toppling over here, and he looks like he's ready to pass out. What's up, man?
No,
You
he's
all right?
good.
You good? You
It's
good?
West Coast, I guess.
Hey, how's our
For
poll?
sure.
Oh, by the way, the Phunion put up a poll. We did.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Phunion put up a poll. First two.
Don't tell the other 4 fifths.
Yeah, first tube, first song or last song. Where is it at? Do you have results? I'm sorry. I should have. Yeah, I shouldn't have thrown it to you. Like
Andy,
that.
in the meantime.
Oh, I was gonna do another baseball card of the week. If you know.
No, I'd rather know what Andy,
Go
how
for it.
long it takes you to learn songs. I mean, I don't know. When I listen to them, I'm not a guitar player or musician. It seems really fucking complicated. Like it'd be really hard to pick up, and you play so seamlessly. Is that something that you can just like listen to and figure out in a night, or do you have to like really practice a lot, or?
Well, I mean, I'll put it like this. When I first started learning to play guitar, like seriously, I learned a couple chords, and then the next thing that I did was I sat down, and with a lot of Phish songs in particular, I think the first guitar solo I ever learned was "Could Have Lied" by Red Hot Chili Peppers from Blood Sugar Sex Magic. It was a John Frusciante solo. And after I picked that one out, I got like totally addicted to the process of learning stuff by ear. And I was probably like 12 or 13 at the time. So then fast forward like maybe to like 6 months later, I started taking songs from Junta and like, especially The Divided Sky, that was one of the first ones that I picked out. And I would sit there with the album solo and pick it out note for note. So when you're talking about different types of musical skills, that learning music by ear, memorizing music by ear, learning music by ear, and transcribing music by ear are all three like valuable skills to have in what I'm doing. They may not be as valuable in other particular areas of music, but me personally, I kind of started doing that from the very beginning of my playing. So then fast forward like 20 years and, you know, I've been to like hundreds of Phish shows and I've heard these songs so many times and listened without listening, you know what I mean? They just kind of sink into you. So I intrinsically, when I'm learning a song, I could like pretty much sit there without the song playing and do a lot of the picking it out by ear without any reference point. So if you actually give me a reference point, I can learn it pretty quickly. The only thing that would be holding me back would be technical ability. And at that point, it's just a matter of slowing down the part and getting it up to speed. And as soon as I have it up to speed, I pretty much have it memorized. So the amount of time that it takes me depends on how difficult it is technically mainly, and probably how different it is from other songs that I've already learned. Once you start learning Phish songs, you start to notice patterns.
I was going to ask you, how consistent, or are there tricks of, I mean, I'm sure there are, like Trey has tricks, like certain modes he goes to in his writing, or certain like tricks or the way he writes. Do you find that there's a lot of consistency in his style? Or is there I mean, I know all the songs, but I don't know from your mind. Like, do you feel that it's pretty consistent?
There really is. I mean, throughout learning all this material, throughout my whole life, pretty much, I'll come to a point where I'm sure you guys have experienced it too. You'll be like, what is this one thing? I can't even verbalize what it is. I just know it. And if you did it, if Trey did it, if I was sitting at a show, I'd be like, that's it. I don't know what that is. And eventually after experiencing that, you know, many, many times, you get to the point where you sit down and you're like, okay, now I've identified what that thing is. Now I have a live version of a particular song where he does that. And I'm just going to sit down and listen to it and analyze it and figure out where it fits in a context. And then all of a sudden you start to wrap your head around it and own that particular thing that is intrinsically Trey. And another thing that I'll say that's really interesting is listening to other Phish tribute guitar players. It's like you're listening to people that have been drawn to different aspects of Trey's playing. So one guitar player may be really good at a particular part of Trey's style, and another guitar player may be good at another part of his style. And that depends on what they gravitated towards, what they liked. The first thing you're going to learn how to do is the thing that you like.
This sounds exactly like how me and Missy make our lip sync videos. Well, wait, no, I think that's exactly the opposite of how we make our videos, actually. But no, that's incredible. It's incredible. And again, we just had Amar on, so that's an incredible perspective of with Amar and then you. We're so glad to have you, and that perspective is incredible.
I wish I would have known. I would have tuned into that. I would have loved to have heard it.
Well, you can
find
that on
YouTube. It's long though. It's like a 2.5 hour party, but
yeah. You can find that on Wook Plus. Wook Plus on subscribe and yeah, please like and subscribe.
No, and he was actually, I think it was by accident, but it's going to be our new pattern. He was in the 5 spot, the same as you. So if you want to skip to Amar, it was that same spot. I like it though. It's pretty sick having the music guy at the end. That was fun.
Do you think we get Adam Levine from Maroon 5 next week to come play the
Where would you rank this on the jam bracket, Brian, so far? We haven't heard from you. Like so far on our bracket, like where are we at? Are we at a 2 seed or a 8 seed?
The meat stick or the show in general?
The meat stick. No, don't judge us. We don't want to hear that. The meat stick.
The meat stick is going as like a solid 3 seed. That was an
Yes.
excellent performance. Andy, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I haven't seen you in years, man. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, great to see you, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I saw your band once in Baltimore, I think in 2017, I want to say. And I remember one of my biggest takeaways was you guys are taking the idea of a Phish show and essentially saying, we're going to play songs out of order in a sense that like Phish is like, we're going to do all the things that every Phish nerd has ever wanted to hear, you know, like a You Enjoy Myself into a tweezer, into like a vocal jam, you know, stuff like that. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I remember there was a lot of moments through the set where I was like, Phish would never play it like this, but I wish that they did. And I'm curious what your approach is to set list writing prior to a show or during a show. Are you trying to kind of like fuck around with the overall structure of a Phish show, or are you just like going based on what your overall interests are musically?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think as a fan, well, I guess first of all, I'm approaching it as a player. So I'm maybe making a list of the songs that we know that I want to play. Like if there's a song that say we just learned a song, and that's going to be on the list for sure. Say it's a song that I just really enjoy playing. I'm not going to put it on there every night, but I'm going to try and favor stuff like that more. And once I come up with a basic list, I usually look at this stuff when we're actually touring and things like that. I'm looking at this giant list of songs and all the set lists for the next couple of months. And I'm sort of like fantasizing before I go to sleep. I'm kind of going into like a dream world, and I'm looking at that list of songs every night, and each night I'm making small changes to it. And I might spontaneously think, oh, wow, what if we put the tweezer in the middle of the You Enjoy Myself, or, you know, stuff like that. And so I'm doing that almost every night as we're approaching it. So by the time it gets to the day of the show, the set list has been kind of cooked around a bunch of times. And then at that point, it's still not a final thing. I may have some ideas, and then I'll usually run it by the rest of the guys and girl whenever we're going into, you know, either sound check or going into the show later. That's when I usually start to mention that stuff, like right before the show. Sometimes stuff just happens spontaneously that's not on the set list. There's a lot of shows that we go out there with a set list and we play like none of the songs on the set list or none of the order on the set list. And that happens too. So we try and keep it real loose. I try and keep it real loose. I think everybody else likes to keep it real loose. But at the same time, I think to answer your question, how do things happen that Phish wouldn't do? A lot of that comes from me as a fan thinking, well, I mean, if I went back and did like something that Phish has already done, then what we're doing is going to be more directly compared to the original. But you know, the easiest way for us not to be compared to the original, which strangely, I don't know if we really want to be compared to the original so much because they're so much better than us, but we want to kind of do something that hasn't been done before, because we are already doing something that has been done before. So in that context, we want to make it a little bit more fresh. That's why we don't play any shows that have already been written, like any previous shows or albums, because I think that for me, a lot of the enjoyment in a Phish show is not knowing what's going to happen next. And if you take that away, I get bored, or something happens to my mind, and I lose my connection a little bit. I lose my
vibe for us too, right? So like we wouldn't want to. I don't know. I'm not a big like Dark Star, you know.
I was just thinking about it. It's like the opposite of DSM
shows, right? So I'm with you that it's much better. And I've been to a bunch of Runaway Gin, you know, shows here in the city, and they're so much fun. And it's always like a dance party, and the vibe is so good. And it's not like you're going to hear like, you know, like a Phish cover band. It's you know, it's deeper than that.
It's
a really good
reinterpretation
interpretation.
of the music right then.
I catch you guys like a week or two after I see Phish, and it's like right when I'm going through like postpartum Phish, and I'm like, oh.
So would you say you're the J-Rad of Phish?
Oh, don't that you know,
yeah.
terrible. Get
I
out
wouldn't
of
say
here.
that.
Come
I mean,
on, man.
I would say
Come
that I'd say that we're the Runaway Gin of Phish.
Hey,
or
Here,
J-Rad
thank
is
you.
the runaway gin.
I
of the
mean,
bit.
Joe Russo and Tom Hamilton and Scotty Metzger and Drew, what's his last name? Drywitch? I would have it. Drywitz. And those guys are all like, you know, pretty famous musicians on the music scene, and they were before J-Rad, and we're not really. So I mean, I think that if that's a comparison that you're trying to make, then I don't think that we're that. Maybe if you mean specifically a certain aspect of it, I would give you
Llama, are you the Crosby, Stills, and Nash of the Beach Boys?
So,
Oh no!
Why
Wait,
does
wait,
anybody
wait,
take me seriously? Like, why don't you just permanently mute me? No, I just thought it was funny to make the comparison.
No. Well,
That's Llama.
It's good. It landed. It
I know
totally
it's gonna be
landed.
really hard for you guys to believe this because this has been a fucking blast. We were 5 minutes out from show, and if we don't get in,
Whoa.
Yeah, and I got
there's no way we're gonna
gotta go
catch
line
this
up for the
show.
porta potty real quick.
Whoa.
I got a floor wristband.
Brian, Missy, Justin,
You guys
Jen,
are
and
awesome.
Andy, I cannot tell you how much I
Thank
appreciate
you,
having
guys.
you guys on. This has been so much fun. I hope all of you will consider coming on again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love
See
all
ya,
of you.
Jen.
Plus crew, once
Phunion.
again, well done. You guys are my. Love you guys. I'm gonna close this on a high note. You guys rock. Thank you all. Much love. Enjoy the show. Everybody have a good show.